Yeah,
And
guys.
hello and good evening, everybody. It is Monastery Live. It is my fucking birthday, August 12th, 2018. As part of NACJack Studios in association with everybody, I am always your ever vigilant gaming monk, but you can call me Mildra. And with me are the gaggle of freaks. We have good brother Aaron, the flamboyant flyer flitter guy, good brother Carbine, good brother Doku, and unfortunately, we were going to have the Crimson Pfizer, Kyoryu Crimson, along with us, but he has decided to be not appearing in this film.
Well, considering what time it is in Scotland,
well,
anyway,
I'm only giving him crap over this because he kept saying that he'd be able to make it.
Yeah.
Let's had a rough night.
Well, Mildred, if this is anything like Nurgle stream, I bet you anything that people are going to be popping in and out anyway. So,
yeah, it's like an episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah, it is. It is the live stream about nothing.
Well, isn't the host supposed to be introducing the topics or something?
So, with that said, how's everybody been holding up for the last 7 days?
Well, finally managed to get out. Got to work on time for a change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been kind of late the last couple of days.
Also,
the only bad thing
Doku is still muted.
The only bad thing that happened on my day on today for me is that once again Minnesota sports team disappoints me.
What happened? Did the Twins
Twins
fuck up?
Lost.
Yeah, Twins ain't doing shit right now. Right now, Yale Central's a fucking dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, pretty much. And and even with that, just when you think that we've hit peak salt mine, something else comes in to go even further with it.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. Mm-hmm. I learned that lesson 2 years ago. Just when you think it can't get any worse, it sure as shit gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's been going on 4 years for me. Ever since this whole Gamergate's been nonstop salt.
Mm-hmm.
And it got even better when Trump got elected.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
it hit full gear. It's hilarious.
Speaking of which,
endless boy.
Speaking of which, I suppose that it is high time that get out the donkey, get out the packs, get the pick, get the shovel. We going salt mining.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's do it.
Salt mining we will go.
Oh, I love a good
bringing the dynamite.
Assaulting we will go. Hi ho the merry-o, assaulting we will go.
Hi ho, it's off to work we go.
Yes.
Wait, hi ho. Why are you doing walking the streets of LA?
Wrong movie. That's the wrong movie.
Stay off of Madison Street, please.
Wait, hi ho. I thought San Francisco took that label.
Nah, it's more like holy shit down there.
Also, guys, I might have to leave for a while. I'm going out. I'm gonna be going home, but I'll be back once I get home.
All right. We'll hold down the fort.
All right.
Don't worry. Nobody's gonna burn anything yet.
Anyway,
Antifa hasn't shown up quite yet, so we're safe.
Oh god.
Oh, don't worry.
I get the feeling that if Antifa showed up at any of our houses, it'd be a repeat of the Hoplite Hero.
Probably.
Nah, it'd be more like the scene from the tea house in Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, that. Or there's that one scene from House and Flying Daggers that might be accurate.
Oh, that movie was awesome.
Oh,
Love
that's
that
a fucking
movie.
great movie.
I love that movie, but from that director, I honestly prefer Hero.
Hero is really good as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Hero.
I've seen that in the theater back in the day, man. It was freaking awesome.
But both are good, but in different ways. It is a bit. I can't watch House of Flying Daggers without making Onimusha references because the lead actor is Takashi Kaneshiro.
Oh boy.
Wrong Onimusha reference. Takashi played Samanosuke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That being said,
Chibi
since we
was
brought up
fucking
how Trump has caused salt mines, I suppose we should bring up the Walk of Fame thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, shouldn't we start like we usually start with your Geeks of the Week?
That's what we're doing. I thought you.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. But that's why I said we're going salt mining. So we have to go through the Geeks of the Week, where we go through all the dummies. Yeah.
All the dummies and all the salt mining.
Now,
Salt.
after consulting a committee, they had decided to remove Donald Trump's star from the Walk of Fame, which
However,
I was critical of because I think it sets a bad precedent.
Oh shit.
Since you could feasibly have it that anybody, when they're politically unpopular, could have their Walk of Fame removed, when the point of putting a Walk of Fame is to recognize their achievements for years to come.
Mhm.
It'd be like if you found out some dirty shit in the closet of Oscar Wilde, so you redesigned the Oscar trophy so it doesn't look like him.
Okay, so I got a question about this.
Mhm.
If we're going to remove Donald Trump's star, which, by the way, it was made by the West Hollywood Committee, which has absolutely nothing to do with the Walk of Fame. They don't have the final say.
yeah, the people that have the final say are the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and the Historic Trust and the Hollywood Historic Trust. So they have to bring that up to them first to get anything done.
Yes. So the question I have to ask is, if we're going to get rid of Donald Trump's star, should we get rid of Bill Cosby's star? Should we get rid of Kevin Spacey's star? Huh?
Kevin Spacey, maybe.
Does Roman Polanski have a star on there?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
But
either.
I think Robert De Niro has a star there. We could probably get rid of his.
I don't know what he's done.
Mark Hamill has an idea of who should replace Trump's star.
Boom.
Oh, of course he does.
Carrie Fisher.
Doesn't he already have a star?
She already has one, I think.
He already has one, but he means replace his with hers.
Well, do not expect Mark Hamill to be objective on the matter of him, because he's had a hate boner for the guy for years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's nothing surprising. Although it would be ironic if somebody put one of those Trump stickers over Mark Hamill's star.
Although, actually, I would pay to see that happen. Which brings up the fact that you never underestimate shitlords. They will always be more creative than you.
Yeah. And problem is, what is Hamill's beef with Trump? Apparently, you say this goes back years.
What did Trump ever do to Mark
I have no
Hamill?
fucking idea. I just know that this goes all the way back to the early days of his career.
This goes back to like the late 70s or some shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's even before Trump even got on the freaking radar.
No, like Trump didn't even try to like run for office until like 2000, and he already like backed out because he was having internal party problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if it's the late 70s, Donald Trump didn't really appear on the scene until the 80s. But
I guess maybe Mark Hamill, he probably met him and Trump probably said something that pissed him off, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I guess.
yes.
Maybe, who knows?
Probably, but
Maybe
Then the story gets even more interesting. A crew, and this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Crew laminated vinyl stars and placed them on blank squares in Hollywood.
The hacker known as 4chan.
Yep. Sam Hyde, and Kamen Rider Decade did it.
Oh my god!
No, Menaker did it. Menaker got together with Adam Baldwin and decided to put those stars there.
But so the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, destroyed on several occasions by detractors who sometimes wield a pickaxe, mysteriously multiplied overnight so that on Thursday morning there were several dozen stars. The effort comes from a conservative street artist who wishes to remain anonymous, but says he was motivated not only by the destruction of the president's real star, but also a recent unanimous vote by the West Hollywood City Council to recommend the removal of Trump's star due to accusations he has mistreated women. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and Los Angeles City Council haven't weighed in on the matter, but those who oppose the proposal note that others in Hollywood who have been accused of mistreating women still have stars on the Walk of Fame, most notably Bill Cosby. The anonymous artist says he's not done with his mission to preserve Trump's star. Rip up the president's Walk of Fame star or try to have it removed. Like your mayor of West Hollywood or something, and 30 more will pop up, the artist tells the Hollywood Reporter. The artist and his cohorts, who call themselves the Faction, and are allies of prolific conservative artist Sabo, spent $1,000 on the stars, which they printed on sheets of floor vinyl with adhesive backing, and their mission was partially financed by a young and anonymous entrepreneur. The crew laminated the vinyl stars and placed them on blank squares on the Walk of Fame, so they kept them covered until all were secured into place, so onlookers would not know exactly what was happening.
An anonymous entrepreneur? I wonder who could that be?
I didn't want to get hit over the head from behind. We thought Trump derangement syndrome was a joke, but I'm pretty sure it's real. Oh, it's real.
No. It's real.
Real.
They just called it something else. They called it like whatchamacallit?
Trump anxiety disorder.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Oh my god. They found a more politically correct term for it.
Yeah, euphemism, if you will.
I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't go into psychotherapy, because I would be making a fucking killing right now.
Oh my god! You know, there is one cure for that thing, and it involves a sledgehammer.
Or a bullpen hammer.
He goes on to say, if no one peels these off, they could last there for 10 years. Those stars were peeled off. One Ripley's Believe It or Not employee said the stars began to be peeled off because we didn't want to have what happened to the old star here. Not only would the star be destroyed, but it would damage our property. A member of the cleaning service that deals with daily graffiti and vandalism on the Walk of Fame said, "We started at 5 o'clock in the morning and we found about 50 stars." A street vendor added, "Jesus. I was surprised. It looked pretty real."
Concerned about damaged property, huh?
Well, too late for that.
Like you might want to call the police about something.
Yeah.
And speaking of art getting censored, okay, I think it's time we talk a little bit about Alex Jones.
Ah, boy, here we go.
Oh boy.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get us in trouble by bringing his name up, but I do not care.
Hands up! Don't flag.
Oh god! Someone go out and check to see if Monday Matt's out there.
Monday Matt is actually in the chat. I'll laugh so hard right now.
He's not here because we haven't talked about Ghostbusters yet.
Or mentioned Gamergate. Oh wait, no, we already did that. Fuck.
Yeah,
we're screwed, guys.
We already did that, but we're not. But none of us are trying to claim like we're the impetus for the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
And if he if Matt does try and flag me, all I have to say is, unlike Aiden, you know exactly who I am, Matt.
Also, we already said hands up, don't flag. So
Yeah, hands up, don't flag. If you do, you ever seen a sober Irishman?
Yeah,
what?
I've seen a sober Irishman.
I am partially Irish and not sober.
You ever seen
my
you ever seen
God.
one who's been banned from coffee?
Nope.
Oh,
Don't.
No.
Now that being said, as the old saying goes, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Now, if somebody's going in this with the assumption of you must subscribe to Infowars or some shit, it's like, no, I really don't. I like watching Alex Jones in the same way that I like watching Drunk Uncle on Saturday Night Live. I enjoy the meme factory. I enjoy bringing up that they're putting chemicals in the water to turn the freaking frogs gay.
They're turning the fucking frogs gay.
I like the memes. I like the bants. I consider it a character. I do not take anything he says seriously at all.
Neither do I.
Apparently, the soy patrol with certain social media sites does, and they thought the best way to deal with him was to have him no platform for community guidelines. And I've seen a lot of people pull some really stupid doublethink over this. And one particular one that I have to call out, even though I enjoy his other work, is Philip DeFranco.
Yeah, Philly D kind of dropped the ball on this one, in my opinion.
Normally he's perfectly fine. This was one of those cases where he did not live up to his standards, look, everybody is going to have to admit their biases. I acknowledge this fact. However, you're supposed to try and be as impartial as you can when you're reporting on shit.
But then again, like Philip DeFranco doesn't exactly call himself like a journalist, does he?
No.
If he's gonna present himself as presenting the news, then he may as well be.
Yeah.
Well, he's still not Monday Matt.
no.
No,
But he's three steps shy of it, though.
Yeah, the bias definitely shows on the way he presented it.
All right, look. One thing I got to ask, like, was the Trust and Safety Council a part of this? Did they have the?
I don't know. All I know is that he was flagged for quote unquote violating community guidelines in each case. And I think in one other case they had said that there was the claim that he had put out something that was promoting hate speech. The problem is both community guidelines and hate speech are so goddamn vague that they could mean just about anything.
Especially the hate speech topic, which they can literally label anything as hate speech and you'll get canned for it.
Yeah.
But look,
I wasn't aware that frogs were so sensitive.
all right, look, but even if you don't like Alex Jones, even if you don't agree with him, like, look, even if we don't like, say, for example, Anita Sarkeesian, if I can just pull up a quick example, nobody has asked to censor her. Nobody has ever asked to have her channel shut down. Nobody ever asked to, censor what she was saying because, look, of course, Streisand effect will always happen. Once you try and censor somebody, like, people will start getting curious. And for the fact that they did this to Alex Jones, they effectively, and I know this has been said time and time before, but they really did effectively turn him into a martyr.
Oh my God! They put a shotgun to their foot.
Nothing, and as if to prove that point, aside from now, first off, I'm gonna need to take two cold showers tonight. The first was because I ended up suffering through the Black Ops 4 beta. And the only reason I did was because I had a free code. And
God.
free codes.
Dude,
And,
you got a free pass to fucking digital cancer.
well, somebody had to bite the bullet, so it may as well be the guy who can take it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And the other thing is that I feel really dirty about the fact that the one social media person who had their head on straight throughout this entire thing is fucking Jack.
Jack Dorsey of all fucking people.
Because
Of all
he has
Jack.
defended the
Well,
film.
you know the
guys-
reason,
that
you
he's
know the
not
reason
deleting-
Jack Dorsey didn't ban Alex Jones is because his ass is going to have to go testify to Congress within the next month or so.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised. He even got Gavin McInnes and the Proud Boys banned.
I'm kind of shocked about that one myself. Like Gavin McInnes, I can see, but all of the Proud Boys and also Patriot Prayer. Like, damn guys, you picked the wrong time to be politically biased on this one.
But I mean,
Probably
they've
not a good
always
look.
been this way, though. This is not surprising. They've always been this way. They've shown their colors ever since whatchamacallit. What's the owner of Facebook's name again? Ever since he showed
Mark
up in
Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And not
Mark
only that,
Zuckerberg.
And ever since the Trust and Safety Council was formed, and like there has been numerous things to show that they were never our friends to begin with. So really, is this really surprising to anybody?
And Carbine, just to answer your question, to my knowledge, the Trust and Safety Council has not weighed in on this yet. But I have a feeling they will.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I'm actually really wondering if Ajit Pai did not repeal net neutrality intentionally, which net neutrality mostly applied to service providers for the most part, but having that repealed does kind of embolden a lot of these social media platforms, which for all intensive purposes, if you go by the definition, are public forums. Because they're not really publishers since they don't actually produce their own content, and it's not like YouTube Red where it's a paid for service. So technically they're a public forum, which means that Zuckerberg, Wojcinski, Dorsey,
Yeah,
all
the
you
whole-
guys
the whole
might want to be careful.
There are
But-
two excuses that I keep hearing over this that
Yeah.
I feel need to be addressed and called out. The first is the notion of their
company.
except no, they're not. YouTube
Exactly.
is owned by Google. Google is owned by Alphabet. All three are publicly traded. There is no private company shit.
But
Second,
what about Facebook and Twitter?
Facebook's publicly traded.
yeah, they're both publicly traded, and Facebook stock took a nosedive a few days ago.
Ouch. Yeah.
Which I wish I would have
because
shorted them.
I saw it happen.
Someone shorted them.
I wish I would have. I would just buy an option 6 months out and just short the fuck out of it. I would have made a killing. That's my new strategy. Anytime I see a company get woke, I'm immediately buying put options against them.
So basically, if they go woke, you're making them go broke.
They're making me money, so fuck it.
Yeah.
Please
By the
get
way,
woke.
yeah. And by
It's
the
a winning
way,
strategy.
yeah. By the way, if anybody who's not into the stock game's heard of shorting a stock, watch Trading Places.
Yes. Orange juice, I believe it was.
Yep. I remember
Yep.
that movie.
I guess
Yep,
just to be an
concentrated-
econ nerd. Just to be an econ nerd for a second, if anybody's not aware what the term shorting means, it means you're basically betting that the stock price is going to go down.
So basically, you're putting in like an option to say that the stock is going to tank.
Yeah, I'm betting they're going to fail, which
Yeah,
I
so-
should have done against Disney because they missed their earnings.
Yeah, because what happens is at the short you sell, I believe. I think you sell all you. I think it's supposed. You're basically selling stock you don't have yet, apparently.
Yeah,
So-
it's a derivative asset. So it's basically I'm buying the option to either buy or sell a stock at a certain price. So let's say Disney, for example, is trading at $100. So the only thing you really have to worry about with options is there is such a thing as time decay. So I'll buy an option saying 6 months out, the longer time goes on, the less value the option has due to there's only, let's say there's 2 months left. It's not going to be worth as much as when there is 6 months left to exercise that option to buy or sell. So Disney goes down to $80. I can exercise that option and force someone to buy Disney stock at $100 when it's only trading at 80. Therefore, I make $20 per share.
Yes.
Nice.
So basically, yeah, it's like in Trading Places. They bought the shit around 29 or 30, and then they sold those at the price that they shorted on. They made a shit ton of money, and at the same time, they bankrupted the Dukes.
Yeah, the only thing is that if you bet wrong, you can technically be forced to buy something at a price that will burn the fuck out of you.
So it's pretty much betting at that point.
It is.
It's very risky, but if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money. But in today's current society, get woke, go broke is actually a thing. So I think that's a solid trade strategy.
Yeah.
It seems to be holding true for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think Dorsey's going to be dragged in front of committee in a few months. Who knows what's going to happen?
So he's basically trying to butter up so that he'll look somewhat good in front of Congress.
Yeah.
He'll have something to point at, and it's ironic that Susan Wojcicki is probably the smartest one in this entire situation where social media applications are being scrutinized so heavily, because she can just point to the SPLC and the ADL and be like, oh, well, they're the ones doing it. They're technically not under the alphabet umbrella, so they're just fucking up. She can pass the blame off to someone.
Yeah.
Well, for now, even though she's still getting shit from all angles.
Well, I don't think Wojcicki will pass the blame off. I think she's going to come up with, if anything, she'll most likely come up with the most corporate answer that you could probably think of. And I think that's how a lot of these guys are going to try and pass off the blame in this situation, because that's what they pretty much always do.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. And but here's what's going to happen. They're banking on this blue wave, the hit during the midterms, which I don't think is going to happen.
No, it's not. They screwed up way too much for that to happen.
Yeah, and if it doesn't happen, which is very likely, I bet you next year you're going to see some trust busting.
Actually, I think Styx Hexenhammer is right on this one. First off, the Dems calling the whole thing in Ohio, well, it was a moral victory. It was a red state. It's like, yeah, you lost by the skin of your teeth, but you still lost. And also, it was a special election, which historically has a pretty low voter turnout. And you're going to have to do the whole thing all over again in November, anyways, when voters actually turn out.
Yeah,
and when you look at the non-biased polling, Rasputin is one, and I forget the other. The aggregate polling doesn't show a lot of support for the Democratic parties, and this extends to states that were blue during the 2016 election. So I think he's probably right. The Republicans might gain 1 or 2 seats in the Senate, and they'll probably retain the House. Yes,
and like I said, I think the problem was the Republican opponent during that special election, they were down. When Trump came, that's what carried him over to the finish line.
Yeah, he showed up at the last minute, and it managed to rally people up. Trump has that effect. There's something about him where it gets people off their ass. Apparently, maybe it's because he's a dick.
Getting back on the matter at hand.
Yes.
What I think is ultimately very telling is that after this whole shitstorm happened. Oh, and by the way, I should also note that H3, and I think one other channel got flagged for talking about Alex Jones, which nice job shooting yourselves in the foot there. But what ended up happening after the fact is that the InfoWars app got bumped up to 4th place on Google Play, to the point where Google Play decided to quietly try and hide it.
Yeah, but it got higher up to like number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And how many subs did Alex Jones get after the fact? Like 6 million, apparently.
He's claiming 6 million. I'm not entirely convinced that that's how many he actually got.
Yeah, that's probably him inflating the numbers, but
it's a gain nonetheless, though. He probably got to
go down. And the real point of it is, who cares how much he actually gained? The fact that he actually can't talk. The fact that he even gained subs over this entire event just shows that, yeah, you guys shot yourself in the foot. It's kind of the reason Trump says stupid shit on Twitter.
Well, what can we say?
Is good publicity, apparently.
Well, Streisand effect is real, as we've been saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, the more you try to censor somebody, the more it's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, and this is proof of it. Well, more proof, I should say. It was a really dumb move on, let's see, what was it? Apple, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify, I believe, were the 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Discus.
No,
I
I think something different happened with Discus. I could be wrong.
Well, Discus banned him too.
Okay.
Oh, they could just be ducks in a line, apparently.
Yeah, but also they tried, and this is another thing. This is why I always get a kick out of these people that say, "Oh, it's a private company. If you don't like it, create your own." Well, here's the thing: Gab is being threatened to get their plug pulled by fucking Microsoft. They try to said no more hosting for you.
There we go. That's the thing. That's what I wanted. So,
and unless like you got a guy that can actually like legitimately create a website for you, it's going to be difficult because you have to go to these websites that that host everything for you. So it's pretty difficult to actually get a website, or at least something that could compete with the major websites, unless you have somebody who can actually code everything for you.
Yeah,
it's like the whole problem that the Daily Stormer, which the guy who was founded it, I can't say hosting it because they were hosted by GoDaddy, blatantly says, like, look, we're a parody website. And even then, GoDaddy is still like, nope, fuck you. They're the hosting website. Most people don't make their own websites anymore.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off. It's like, you see, I wish there was a free market solution to this, and we're not too far away from what's that thing called, blockchain. But the problem here is until that comes to fruition, they hold all the cards. There is no free market solution for this, sadly. You're gonna have to get an internet bill of rights or trust bust these fuckers.
But then again, you have to deal with this situation where, do you really want the government coming in to formulate these bill of rights? Because at that point, they'll also have the ability to take those away. I mean, look at what's happening to free speech right now. Like, I mean,
that's true.
Granted, it's not being taken away by the government, but it is being
I think that it is very much getting to the point where the whole fallback of freedom of speech only applies to governmental bodies. I think that needs to be addressed.
Well,
yeah,
technically it doesn't, because guess what? Major television always censors things, especially when they format certain shows for certain audiences, especially children. They always censor. Same thing with anime. Same thing with certain movies. Like, major corporations always censor. So the argument that only government is punished for censorship under the First Amendment is a blatant lie. It no longer applies at this point.
That's where we actually need to really start having the argument, is at what point does something become, again, like a publisher versus a public forum? Something like CNN, they have to hire people, they have to put things together, they have a production team. The people that broadcast, the cable company, for example, they're the public utility. But CNN can claim that they're the publisher because they're producing the content, hiring the employees. But the content that YouTube produces, if you're not talking about YouTube Red or something that's subscriber based, Yeah, it's people like Mildred that are creating content. YouTube isn't doing jack shit besides providing the forum in which we can sit down and have a talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where you really need to begin the argument and conversation to apply something like that.
True, but even in that case, in the case of YouTube, it's not privately owned. So at that point, it's just a public forum. It's not really like a privately owned company. And even if you want to get into brass tacks, it's technically owned by Google, which again, Google is not privately owned. It's owned by another company. So
Alphabet.
Yes, of course, Alphabet. So that argument is already null and void at that point. So at that point, YouTube is literally just a public platform where anything and everything should be allowed on there, so long as it doesn't violate the law.
And that's exactly the reason that a lot of these companies like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter have such vague terms of service, because they're not going to sign a contract with you. So at that point, yeah, they're a public forum with terms of service that are so vague they can selectively choose who can and cannot be on their forum. Because if Alex Jones is fucking hate speech, then why the hell is someone like what is his name, Ghazi Kodo? Why hasn't he been banned?
God, that idiot!
Yeah, why hasn't he been banned? Why?
What
is
about
Antifa
Onision?
still banned? Yeah, Onision, that's another one. I mean,
and every other Antifa scumbag out there peddling their
there's
fucking
plenty of people.
Yeah,
There's plenty of people that objectively, or MOCE, there's plenty of people that have objectively violate their terms of service, but they're so vague that, again, they cherry pick it because they're politically biased.
Yeah, it's very much the case of rules for the, not for me.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of it.
Especially since, as we've seen plenty of times, whenever they get the legal slap back, they end up crying to mommy like they've never been hit.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I wonder if a Jeep Pie repealing net neutrality wasn't really a slight against the service providers, and really just a way to try to honeypot these essentially public forums into making stupid decisions like this, because they think they're not going to be untouchable. It's like, you're not the same as, say, Comcast or Verizon Fios. You might have dug your own grave on this one.
We'll see how it plays out. I do, however, think, but we have dwelled on this thing for a little too long. So here's one that I want you to explain to me, Dilku.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Bigfoot porn being a political discussion topic?
Oh, this is a good one. I wish this was a joke, but such is the world we live in, where jokes are actually now reality. So there are two individuals running for Virginia Senate in the 15th district, I believe. And I believe it's the Democratic candidate. I don't know if the other candidate is Democrat or Republican. I can't quite remember because the story is just way too fucking hilarious. So her attack against her political opponent was the fact that he was into, quote unquote, I shit you not, Bigfoot erotica.
What? What?
Yes.
You're kidding, right?
I am not joking. This is an actual thing.
Oh, good lord.
That's the political attack. Like, let's not talk about his ideas about immigration or public policy or economics or tax or no, he's into Bigfoot erotica. Don't forget this guy.
This is like the fucking the early '90s all over again. It's like some silly ass Republican senator going up against his program says he sleeps with a lot of whores. You don't want him around your children. And
here's the
morality or some shit like that.
Here's the funniest part. I can't corroborate this because I did not look into it to see if it's true. But from the information I have seen, it's likely true. He did write a book about why women are sexually attracted to the idea of Bigfoot. And I believe it had something to do with it's an expression of masculinity, which I guess there is kind of a point there. I mean, men tend to be hairy and bigger than female form. Like, I guess you could make that argument, but still, it's a really weird thing to come up when you're talking about a state senate race. Like,
Are we
what?
sure that Kurt Eichenwald has not been promoted to press secretary?
No, that would be talking about fucking tentacle porn. Talking about octopus fetishes.
How do you know that's where it ends?
Oh, it won't end there. It won't end there. Trust me.
It'll only get worse. It will only get worse.
And by the way, I checked out the district. It includes Charlottesville. So
yes, it does.
Haven't you heard that they're holding like another rally? Unite the Right is going to be holding like another rally. I don't think it's in Charlottesville, but it's going to be somewhere else.
I think they already did. They already did, and only 20 people showed up.
There was like 5 people that showed up for Unite the Right, and according to Temple, so citation. But there was only like 5 or 6 people that showed up in Charlottesville, and Antifa decided like, okay, well, there's no actual white supremacists this time, so let's just attack the fucking cops because
let's go beat up reporters and beat up on the police. Come on.
Yeah. But no, the actual rally that they were holding was in DC, but I haven't heard any news coming out of that yet. So, no clue what happened there.
Well, here's what happened. I think, Kessler, that fucking Asian provocateur, yeah, him and like 20 other guys made it down there. But let's just say it fizzled out. Of course, they got the fuck out of there before Antifa showed up.
No, that's because they're actually smart, and we all know what Antifa does. And again, no one can still explain what they have against public sanitation.
Yeah, really. I mean, I bet you, if they were like 2,000 strong, I bet you a fucking street battle would erupt.
Oh, most definitely. That's kind of their shtick at this point.
Yeah.
Well, their shtick is to act tough, and then when somebody actually hits back. Right.
Then they go find the police. That's when they run to the police, is when someone actually punches them in the face.
Except when they're fighting against the police, then it's a whole different story.
Yep.
But
at that point, I really don't care if the police goes Rodney King on them.
You know what? Technically, according to the NATO definition, anybody that uses violence or intimidation to seek political gain, be it political, ideological, or social change through the use of violence or intimidation, is technically a terrorist. So,
we've all known.
I think that's been thoroughly covered. That they are a terrorist organization.
Yep.
Yeah, by definition. I mean, you could say that about plenty of other groups too. I mean, I would even argue that there's segments of the Westboro Baptist Church that.
Oh, I have argued that for years.
Yeah, technically they use violence and intimidation tactics. So, threat of bodily harm or property damage. Yeah, technically that makes you a terrorist organization.
Yeah, and besides, Antifa, they're basically like they're basically the fucking paramilitary wing of the far left right now. They're like those. If you ever seen Narcos? If you ever seen Narcos?
Someone was just telling me about that today.
What?
Narcos, the show, Netflix show.
Yeah.
That Pop Escobar, I think in the first season, hired a bunch of fucking Marxist guerrillas to raid a fucking courthouse to destroy all the extradition documents. And so basically, that's what's going on right now. You have a bunch of scumbags that are using Antifa as their fucking foot soldiers to basically cover all their fucking tracks.
Well, if you think about it, they are proving themselves to be extremely useful idiots.
Yeah, really.
They're falling right into the spider's web.
Well, knowing what we know about the current political landscape, like, what do you guys think is going to happen at this point? Because I don't think it can get any better, especially for the Democratic Party. People are already walking away. Like,
Have you
people
seen
are
the end?
already
Do you remember the end of Gangs of New York?
Gangs of New.
I've
No,
never seen Gangs of New York.
Okay, Gangs.
What?
I remember watching Gangs of New York, but
Never
right
got
now
the
I'm thinking
chance.
of American Gangster. I don't know why, but
No, American Gangsters. What is Frank Lucas in the 70s?
Gangs of New York is much further back in time.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
in like the mid 1800s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Mid to late 1800s. We're talking about closer to the Gilded Age.
Yeah, that was that was talking about the Irish community in New York.
Mm-hmm.
so like,
That was the subject of the movie.
but anyway, getting more to the point.
The end is that when shit got ridiculously out of hand, the military stepped in and both sides got slaughtered.
But
Ouch.
it's not just like, the street battles that I'm concerned with. It's the actual like political landscape that's going on. I mean, like, what will the people do at that point?
I
Like,
do
and
think
how
that
do you think
the
it will?
walk away movement is going to gain more traction as time passes.
I've been following
Trump-
their fan site on YouTube, and they started out with like 1 or 2 videos a day, and I'm starting to see consistently at least 3 or 4.
Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. At this rate, Trump gets reelected, which is a pretty good chance he will. The left's going to go into they're going to nuclear meltdown mode.
Oh yeah, the violence is going to continue to escalate, but the extremes are going to continue to shrink while becoming more and more extreme. But I don't see the far right growing. I don't see the neo-Nazis or the white supremacists really gaining any kind of traction.
Yeah. The
But
far
then
right.
again, who's going to put up a fight against Antifa and the far left?
And I do
Because-
see the far left actually growing in not necessarily in power, but in numbers. They're
The power
again,
will come with the
derangement
numbers.
syndrome.
The power
Yeah,
will
then-
come with the numbers, but there has to be like another force, a force against them, because like, think of it this way: if left unchecked, then I can see them being the loud vocal minority that will push the government to doing like things that we don't want them to do. If there's nobody like out there, like, like if there's nobody like how could I put this? Like, how they have UKIP in England right now, like being a vocal voice for the people, like trying to rally them, trying to get them to get elected so that they can fulfill the promises of Brexit and whatnot. There's no equivalent of that here in the United States and Canada is pretty much long gone at this point. But there's no like major party that people can go to outside of both Republicans and the Democrats. And hey, if the Republican Party actually like makes improvements to the United States and like fixes the problem with political correctness, I'm all for it. But I don't know if they have the capacity to do it at this point.
Yeah, there's only 2 people that probably is on board with fixing that. That is Trump and Rand Paul. That's about it.
Now all that being said, to bring things back to where we were.
Yeah.
Is we had. I think the next thing that should be addressed, and unfortunately Flutter's not back yet. So I wanted him to explain this. Apparently some adults are giving shit to a 12-year-old for being trans. Except now, to be honest, I'm going to attack both sides of this. On one hand, the parents are being dumbasses for doing this sort of coordinated attack on a 12-year-old. That much is very much true.
Yeah, really.
On the other hand, the 12 years old is far too young of an age to be dealing with shit like that. So
But
as
doesn't
far,
anybody get the feeling that this is just sheer indoctrination on an unprecedented level?
that's what
yeah.
I very much get. I very much get the feeling of preachers' kids.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is like the parents from Footloose, like John Lith. This is like John Lithgow from Footloose meets goddamn, who would be the left wing equivalent to him?
And that's a really good question.
Mommy dearest.
I guess.
Oh! I know who. Anyone ever seen that movie PCU?
Yes.
The dean from PCU, Garcia Thompson or some shit like that. It would be John Lithgow from Footloose versus that bitch.
I would say go to.
I have not seen that movie, so
You've never seen PCU? Check it out. It's fucking awesome. It predated all this social justice shit by like probably, I would say, 20 years actually.
it's going on the list.
Yes. Watch PCU.
See, the one thing that I find interesting, and I started noticing this early on, back when I was in high school, but I didn't really recognize it, is yes, there were individuals who were legitimately of a specific sexual orientation or attraction to a specific gender, and I didn't really think much of it. But starting, in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, it wasn't really a thing. But by the time I got to my senior year, it was very prevalent. I was like, okay, well, what's going on here? And it's like, is there just that many people? And then years later, discovered the term trans-trender, which I really do think it is trendy. And that's why a lot of people subscribe to it. And I mean, if you legitimately are gay or bisexual or whatever, fine, good for you. I really don't care. But it's just the fact that it became so prevalent and so outspoken. It was like the cool thing to do. It was like kids shopping at Hot Topic back in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, it's like
they're doing it to be edgy.
Yeah, you remember that show Will and Grace? Well, it's Will and Grace it's basically acts like the Big Bang Theory to nerd culture.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing it because it's popular.
It's cool.
And really what it's about, at least in my opinion, with a lot of these individuals, at least the very outspoken ones, the vast majority of them, they're doing it because it is popular. And it's not necessarily because, oh, I'm gay or I'm bisexual or I'm this or I'm that. If you are, you are, but you don't wear it on your sleeve like a frickin' just
you don't
to use.
Put out a neon sign saying it.
Yeah, it's like that.
I was gonna use an even better analogy just to be a dick because salt mining. you don't wear it on your sleeve like a fucking Nazi armband marching down the street in an SS uniform.
You know what? I'll do you one better. You don't pull a Milo.
Oh,
Come on.
No, let Milo have.
Milo's cool. Come on. Despite all his other foibles, he's still all right in my book.
He still makes me laugh. He amuses me.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like he's a good guy, but I mean, like he kind of does wear the whole "I'm a gay guy" thing on his sleeve.
Yeah, but at least he's acting. At least I think it's more of a fucking gimmick to him.
Well,
I
I think
it's almost a character for him, whether he's gay or not.
I think you lose.
It's a way for him to. It's shielding against the people who would normally politically and ideologically be opposed to him.
You know, I could actually see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, keep in mind that this is somebody who for one of his talks showed up wearing a MAGA hat, being carried on a palanquin while America Fuck Yeah was playing. I don't think
that coming in drag, and even coming in a priest outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But more of the point where I was going with this is when you've gone through puberty, or you're starting to at least understand what sexuality is. Yeah, that's one thing. But when you start indoctrinating young children in Australia, I'm looking at you,
Yep.
into this kind of gender fluid mindset, it's like, do you think an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kid even understands sexuality, let alone what they're attracted to, let alone what gender they identify with? Like, no, that's straight up indoctrination.
Yeah. And check out the Discord. This is basically what's going on with these trenders now.
Actually, I will raise you one. If anybody remembers Little Britain, Daffyd Thomas, the quote-unquote only gay in the village, who would act like a complete shit, and when people called him out, he claimed everybody was a homophobe.
Damn, that's a good analogy. Well, the thing is, I've met quite a few people through the internet and in real life that were essentially struggling with sexuality, or what their sexuality would be. I knew one that was almost intimate with me before she decided that, she likes women instead. And you can tell the effect that it has, because they're literally straight up confused. If you're gay, you're gay. Like, there's no question in your mind. You're not doing it for popularity. You're not questioning what you're attracted to. Or at least no one that I've ever met who is legitimately actually gay. And I've been hit on by quite a few gay guys in my lifetime, actually. I take it as a compliment. It's like, sorry, man, I don't swing that way. I'm attracted to women, but I still take it as a compliment. I'm not homophobic. It's like, no, it's a compliment. And I've had girls who've decided, like, no, I'm lesbian, who have actually still hit on me because maybe they're bi. They don't know. But you don't see the visceral hatred or the need for them to wear it on their sleeve, like, you're a cis white male, or, that kind of crap.
Yeah.
But it's gotten, obviously this was several years ago because I'm getting old, but I've seen it slowly progress more and more, not because it's socially acceptable, but because it's socially unacceptable to not have a specific sexual leaning because identity politics.
Or to have, like, not have some obscure gender that you could only find on Tumblr.
Yeah, like yes. 400 fucking genders.
Yeah, I sexually
identify only two. As was said by Crowder, there are only two genders. Change my mind.
I sexually identify as a spoiled jar of mayonnaise.
Actually, I identify as a attack helicopter.
I don't know. I think I might switch my gender and finally come out of the hangar and sexually identify as an F-22 air superiority.
Hey.
I'll do you one better. I sexually identify myself as nobility. So my pronouns are His Royal Highness.
Oh, no,
Nice.
See, that's the problem. You can't do that one, because if you do that, then the communists are going to have to come and take your crown.
Oh, they can try.
Yes!
They can try.
Let the battle begin.
They will not succeed.
Let them eat cake.
Oh my god, I think we actually might have just laid the groundwork for a very amazing fucking version of Dungeons and Dragons, and WotC will ban us all.
WotC's already got me banned from their forums. I don't give a fuck.
Oh shit, then let's make it happen. This will be fucking hilarious.
Oh man, are we actually gonna do this? Are we actually gonna make this happen?
Let's please.
If I do it, maybe I'll use it. Maybe I'll use 13th Age because then I can say, hey, the guys who you got rid of because they weren't woke enough are doing a better D&D than you. Also, 13th Age is fucking awesome.
Oh man, I can lay the groundwork for the lore.
Oh, see, we need the equivalent of
one of you write a primer for that, and I will totally run it.
Oh, see, no.
Done. I'll write the lore. I will.
if any of you played World of Warcraft as a warlock, the spell Conflagrate, where damage over time until it finally explodes and does the mass damage.
I used to play WoW back in the day. I have not played since Cataclysm.
Phase 1 of the spell of Conflagrate, cast it on someone, get woke, it acts as a curse, and then go broke. Boom. Get woke, grow broke. That'll be the ultimate spell right there.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
But I suppose next up, and I'm unfortunately gonna have to wait until and I might have to skip this one over because Flutter's not here, and I don't feel like messing around with the fact that the Washington Post has their obnoxious as fuck ad blocks, anti-ad block setup.
Oh God. Well, what do you expect from the freaking Washington Compost?
Yeah, no surprise there.
Yeah,
but it was about the Seattle hijack.
Oh,
that. Yeah, let's wait for Flutter on that one.
Yeah, we want to talk to Flutter about that one.
All right.
But since we're talking about woke dungeon masters and all sorts of that shit, well, Jeremy has decided to go forth with the legal proceedings.
Oh boy!
So happy to hear that. Actually,
I am happy in my head place, not only just for this, but also for the fact that this is starting to be covered by more mainstream spots. Since
Daily Caller has picked up on it. I think Gateway Pundit picked up on it.
Campus Reform also picked up on it, and they're one of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a trifecta right there. You got the Daily Caller, the Gateway Pundit, and Campus Reform. Whew, this will.
And
boy,
the college where the guy was supposedly teaching, apparently they're trying very hard to have him scrubbed.
Yeah, Quinnipiac's playing damage control.
Because nobody wants to have an assaulter put in as one of their esteemed folk.
Yeah.
Where they really fucked up is the fact that this was even reported on, even if they couldn't confirm or corroborate, the fact that so many people have been banned over so much less, and yet this individual, and I'm going to assume, for the sake of disclosure, that Mr. fucking Fantastic over here is actually indeed the individual who did commit the assault, was still allowed to sell his product and have a booth at Gen Con without them doing anything, and then anyone who questioned them, they tried to sweep it under the rug, which tells me that they probably knew.
Yeah, so not only that, but promoting his damn game on their Twitter page.
Oh yeah, they got ratioed like a motherfucker.
It's not a good look. And also, this guy admitted to assaulting someone at another convention several years back. So this is apparently not a new thing.
It was brought to my attention that at one point on the Joe Rogan Experience, somebody had talked about the whole getting assaulted from behind, and the agreement was, yeah, once that happens, there's not a whole lot you can do. It's not like you can prep yourself. So everybody who's trying to pretend like there's some martial artist or there's some badass, no, you wouldn't have done any better in that situation because you wouldn't have known that was coming.
Well, and also, I forget who was talking about it, but this is something that I will agree with because I've met these types of people before. Oh, damn, I really wish I could remember who was actually saying this. But when you get somebody who looks like a roided up soy boy with a bunch of tattoos saying, I do Krav Maga, bro, and is willing to go out there and hashtag punch a Nazi, they do indeed generally tend to be douchebag. And
Shit.
just as a personal, well, not a personal experience, but an experience of someone I know from back when I actually used to do martial arts, there was a guy from
Which story are you guys?
from
We're
our
on the Gen thing.
Good. The statement and Jeremy filing the lawsuit.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic versus Jeremy Hambley.
Yep.
It's going to be a legal battle.
But just to paint the picture of the types of individuals, like the guy who, Mr. Fantastic over here, who decided to assault Jeremy, there was a somewhat similar situation, but different motivations from a guy who is, I believe, like a second or third degree black belt from the Ryu that I went to. And he was having breakfast at a Denny's, and there was a guy from an opposing
Oh
my God! It's like
who challenged him to a fight in the parking lot of said Denny's. And so our guy essentially goes to bow, and the other dude bows, but then immediately knees him in the fucking face.
Oh, that's a no-no.
Yeah, broke his nose, and our guy, we'll call him D, he just looks at the dude with a broken nose, bleeding all over his face, and just like, oh, so that's how it's going to be. Yeah, the other guy ended up in the hospital.
Yep.
Gen Con has issued a response on their Facebook. Quote,
Yeah, an official statement.
As we have received a number of requests for comment on a specific incident, we are releasing the following statement. We are aware of a reported act of violence that took place prior to Gen Con 2018 on Wednesday, August 1st in Indianapolis. Gen Con has received no requests for assistance from local law enforcement, and as always, will cooperate with any request. We are investigating the matter further as well and condemn any acts of violence or harassment. Anyone found to have committed a violent act or a breach of our ethics and harassment policy will be banned from attending future Gen Con programming. We plan to resolve this matter as quickly as possible. Gen Con is a world-class event and is dedicated to providing a self-welcoming environment for all attendees.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that is the most corporate answer they could pretty much put out.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if someone attacked Anita Sarkeesian, they would have been banned on the spot.
Pretty much,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.
Even
Most
if it was,
definitely.
even
There's
if it
no
was by a,
question about that.
even if it was by a fucking bar, you know, banned on the
Yeah,
spot.
Brianna Wu could have. Yeah, Brianna Wu could have bitch slapped Anita Sarkeesian. They both would have been banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, their band cancels out each other.
I don't think that at that point the organizers would know who to ban.
Yeah, it's like, okay, who do we ban? Let's not ban both of them. Let them have it out.
Well, no, see, they would pull what the cast of the Guardians is trying to do. They would ban both of them, and then everybody would freak out and claim it's sexist, and then they'd both be reinstated.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which,
it's not gonna matter much to me because I've decided that, you know what, given how much fun I had at MetroCon versus the shit that I've had to deal with in previous Gen Cons, I ain't going back to Gen Con. Not unless either A, I'm getting paid, or B, I get a chance to cuss out Kevin Siembera.
oh, I resolved.
Kind of sucked, anyways.
Yeah, I resolved at that point. Now before, when I said that when I get Ronan taken care of, that I was going to start hitting the conventions, promoting the game. I made a sort of a pact not to even touch Gen Con for said reasons. Now this incident is pretty much a certainty. I'm pretty much stating it flat out. I will not even set foot in Gen Con. In fact, I'll even go as far as to to suggest we put a rival convention to take them on.
I'd need to do some digging to find one that would work, but I think it would be very interesting if somehow you managed to get it to where a place like MetroCon over in Florida would be willing to let you host pick up and drop sessions of Ronin.
Yeah, if once it gets that far, I'll probably think about it. But I figure with Jeremy's influence, and you have and also apparently he mentioned he knew people that were considered Gen Con royalty. So the question here is, what do they think of it? They're probably just as pissed off about this as everyone else is about.
Probably, most likely.
Yeah,
I mean, I would be.
But at the very least, we can safely say that Gen Con did use their own words when covering their ass.
Yep.
Unlike certain people, which brings us to one of the bigger geeks, and that is the former writer for IGN who decided he was going to try and get away with plagiarism.
Ooh boy!
Oh God, this story.
And this story is even more relevant because of the fact that this guy. Now, first off, for those who don't know, Dead Cells came out not too long ago and has been getting pretty good reviews. IGN put out a video review, but a guy known as Boomstick Gaming pointed out that this review seems a little too close to the one that I did, to the point where it was almost a word for word transcript. And
at that point, it was pretty much word for word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he made a cross comparison.
So it's basically a fucking copy pasta.
Yeah, he made a cross comparison video, and when Forbes contacted him, he said, "I'd rather get credited for my work being taken, but I don't want the guy getting fired because I know what it's like to be unemployed." But unfortunately, that wasn't in the cards, because as soon as that happened, he was let go. And then he uploaded a video, which he then took down when everybody called him out, and basically tried to, quote unquote, apologize by not apologizing and then playing the fucking victim.
Wait a minute. So basically, he not only plagiarized that writer, he also plagiarized Mundane Matt.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's
Sorry about that, guys.
I'm pretty sure if I dig deep enough, he's probably plagiarized me.
Oh my god.
I mean, he tried to also deny that he tried to throw some shade at Jason Schreier, which I'll be honest, even with the Dragon's Crown debacle, Jason Schreier is probably the only person in Kotaku who has their head on straight.
Jason Schreier? Are you sure about that?
No.
I'm very much stretching it, but he seems to be the only one who is attempting to do some journalism.
I wouldn't even give him credit for that.
Let me guess, we're still on the Gen Con story.
Yeah,
no, we're on the IGN story.
Jason Schreier. Yeah. Jason Schreier is basically the sanest one in the nut house right now, which means
which is not saying a lot, in all honesty.
Exactly.
Yeah, and also attempting journalism is still kind of being generous.
I admit that I am stretching this harder than Reed Richards getting drawn and quartered. I fully admit this.
My God, man.
Yeah, how's that for an image to sleep to?
Oh yeah.
Sleep? What? That's gonna happen tonight?
Oh boy.
But the thing of it is, his little apology. Not only did he not outright state it and tried to claim that he was drawing from a lot of people to and that kind of shit, but he threw shade at Kotaku for insinuating that his FIFA 18 review also plagiarized Nintendo Lice review of the same game.
Oh
Oh
my god.
And
God.
to Schreier's credit, he provided transcripts of it, and yeah, it is almost word for word.
You know what? Somebody should archive all this, his post as well as this video, because I'm surprised that nobody has taken his ass to court yet and sued the pants off of him.
Someone's gonna take his ass to court eventually.
Well, he's
Watch.
unfortunately deleted the video, but pieces of it still exist through when Appabend and Yang Ye did responses to it. And lastly, he attempted to play the victim.
Of course, because they always
supposedly
play
his
the victim.
family
They
is
never
getting
take
harassed.
responsibility.
Which, if his family's getting harassed, that sucks, and don't do that.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
called
At the
defense
same
mechanism.
time, you opened yourself up for this by not eating your humble pie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mildra, like my battery power on my phone is running out, so I'm gonna have to take off. But it's been fun. Thanks you guys for having me on, and we'll definitely do this again.
All right, Cap.
All right.
All right, dude. Have a good one.
Take
All right,
care,
see
man.
y'all later.
Yeah.
Later, man.
Take care, dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on that note, Flutter, I assume you have a story to share for us.
Yeah, you were going to talk about the thing with the hijack.
Let me find the article.
Hello, Fluttercat.
I go back to the article.
Did you forget to feed him?
Her first off, and I think that she has food.
She's just really needy.
Mhm. Let me scroll up. But yeah, I've got a few articles, one of which we will most likely segue into another. Let me scroll up even further.
Oh, this sounds like fun.
Ah, here we are. Seattle hijackers plane heist, midair stunts, and fiery crash expose gaps in aviation security. By Nick Miroff. Oops, ad real quick. Random. Wait a second.
Yeah, you're reading that Washington Compost article.
Let me reload since there's an ad for their subscription.
This is why I have. This is why I have ad block.
Oh, wait.
Pesky ad block.
Yep. Now Monday Man's gonna try to shut us down because of that. Because you didn't turn off that pesky ad block.
Let me scroll down. Actually, get to the article.
I just want to say that I'm a soy-filled bitch, and I'm apologizing for false flagging your video.
So, 29-year-old hijacker was performing midair stunts over. Damn it.
Technology does not like you.
No. Offers. Let me.
It must be that pesky ad block.
Yep.
No. Yeah, it's the ad for the subscription service. Just close. And then let me go back. Actually, let me find an article from a local news site real quick. it.
Does anybody have the Jeopardy theme on hand?
If I could have all of the time.
Oh my god. This is the perfect time to put on my hot take sax music. Yeah, my Kenny G loop, as I call it.
I would, but his saxophone is being borrowed by a member of the Ultramarines.
Oh,
The rendition
the
of the
Ultraphone?
guy.
The Ultraphone is busy fighting off High Fleet Leviathan. It's currently not available.
Oh, here's a different article. A 3.5-year-old employee of Horizon Air had specialized training and security clearance, helping him carry out his plan to steal a Horizon Air passenger jet from its parking spot at SeaTac Airport on Friday evening. He worked his shift yesterday. We believe he was in uniform. His job is to be around airplanes, said Brad Tilden, CEO of Horizon's parent company, Alaska Airlines. Richard Russell, 29, who flew the plane for over an hour before it crashed on Ketron. Actually, it might be a different article that's linked.
Next time, check this shit in advance.
I know.
Yeah,
my
really.
fault. Here it is. Alaska Airlines and Horizon Air officials said an employee who stole an empty plane from SeaTac International Airport on Friday night flew more than an hour before crashing on a small island in Pierce County. To our knowledge, he didn't have a pilot's license. Commercial aircraft are complex machines. No idea how he achieved that experience, said Gary Beck, Horizon Air CEO. Brad Tilden, CEO of Alaska Airlines, said Richard Russell took off at SeaTac on 7:32 p.m. and lost contact with air traffic control at 8:47 p.m. All of us at Alaska and Horizon are deeply saddened by last night's unauthorized flight with the Horizon Q400 aircraft that resulted in the loss of life in an individual involved, said Tilden. We want to express our sincere sympathy to his family, loved ones, and coworkers. No passengers or crew were on board. Pierce County Sheriff's Office believes Russell, a ground service agent, acted alone and the incident wasn't related to terrorism. Tilden said the airlines was working closely with the FBI, the NTSB, and the FAA to answer questions about the unauthorized flight. The FBI was leading the investigation and working with the NTSB and local agencies to process the crash on Ketron Island. We are going to be thorough, which means taking the time needed to scour the area, delve into the background of the individual believed responsible, and review every aspect of this incident with all appropriate public and private partners, FBI spokesperson Ian Dietrich Williams said in a released statement. An NTSB spokesperson said crews were trying to locate the flight data recorder in the debris. The plane landed upside down and was highly fragmented, NTSB said Saturday. The aircraft crashed on Ketron Island in Pierce County shortly after 8:45 p.m., igniting a fire in a wooded area in the south end of the island. West Pierce Fire reported a water supply issue made for a difficult firefight, but the blaze was contained to brush and didn't spread to any homes. That fire was still burning as of Saturday morning. It was contained Saturday at 1.8 acres, according to the state DNR, Department of Natural Resources. Crews plan to construct a hand line around the fire, mop it up where possible, and remove aircraft debris. This process could take several days, according to DNR. The man piloting the plane has not been recovered. The Alaska Airlines said the aircraft involved was a 76-seat Horizon Air Q400 turboprop plane. Russell was identified as a 29-year-old Pierce County resident. Authorities initially said Russell was a mechanic, but Alaska Airlines said that he was believed to be a ground service agent employed by Horizon. Those employees direct aircraft for takeoff and gate approach and de-ice planes. His motive wasn't clear, but Russell could be heard on audio recordings telling air traffic controllers that he is just a broken guy. Russell's family and friends spoke Saturday for the first time after the crashing, saying they were in complete shock. It may seem difficult for those watching at home to believe, but Bebo was a warm, compassionate man, said Mike Matthews, a friend of Russell's. Video showed the plane doing large loops and other dangerous maneuvers as the sun set on the Puget Sound. John Waldrop shared the following footage from Chambers Bay Golf Course, and it links to a video of the and it links to said video. Mark Reger was standing in his driveway near Stillicum when he saw the planes fly overhead. We looked across the water, and there's this huge fireball coming up off the west coast of Ketron Island, followed by smoke. There were some fire planes in the air. Clearly seemed immediately like there was a plane crash, he said. It's super scary when you think about how fast those planes are moving. The distance from Ketron Island to these homes is minuscule. It's really scary to think what might have happened under slightly different circumstances. Wait, oops. Scroll down further. Alaska Airlines, the parent company of Horizon, released the following statement late Friday night. Alaska Airlines believes a ground service agent employed by Horizon Air was the individual responsible for flying the Horizon Q400 without clearance from SeaTac International Airport around 8 p.m. tonight. The plane, which was taken from a maintenance position and was not scheduled for passenger flight, crashed about an hour later in a wooded area on Ketron Island in rural Pierce County. No ground structures were involved at the crash site. Military jets were scrambled from Portland, but it doesn't appear that these jets were involved in the crash of the Horizon aircraft. This individual who took the aircraft, who is not yet positively identified until remains are examined, is believed to have been the only person on the plane when the plane was taken from a maintenance position at SeaTac. First responders are at the crash site. Appropriate government agencies, including the NTSB, FAA, and FBI, have been notified. 2 F-15 Air National Guard fighter jets from Portland chased down the plane while it was still in the air. Fighters didn't fire on the plane, and they didn't appear to be involved in the crash. An air traffic control operator attempted to guide the man to Joint Base Lewis Port. "We're just trying to find a place for you to land safely," the operator said. There is a runway just off to your right side in about a mile," the controller added, referring to an airfield at Joint Base Lewis Port. "Oh man, those guys will rough me up if I try and land there," the man responded, later adding, "This is probably jail time for life, huh?" National Air Traffic Controller Association President Paul Rinaldi praised the air traffic controller who communicated with the worker. "We especially acknowledge the contributions of the controller who worked this aircraft and communicated with the individual at the controls. This controller works at Seattle Terminal Radar Approach Control, TRACON, an FAA facility located in Burien, Washington, just west of SeaTac International Airport. The recordings of the incident display his exceptional professionalism and his calm and poised dedication to the task at hand that is a hallmark of our air traffic controller workforce nationwide." Flights out of SeaTac, the largest commercial airport in the Pacific Northwest, were temporarily grounded during the drama. About 75 flights were delayed. 9 were diverted to other airports, and 5 were canceled, according to SeaTac Airport. Some planes circled in the air or sat on the tarmac. They said there was some kind of emergency somewhere on the runway. After that, we just sat there for 40 minutes. But of course, everyone was just pulling out their phone and finding out what's going on and seeing this crazy story, said one air passenger. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said Saturday morning that Trump was quote unquote monitoring the situation. He's currently at his New Jersey golf club. Spokesman for the TSA, the Department of Homeland Security, and the FAA directed inquiries to local authorities. However, the FAA said that it would provide full support to agencies investigating the incident. While we are deeply saddened by the loss of life that occurred, we are proud of the exemplary performance of our air traffic control professionals as this stressful situation unfolded, an FAA spokesperson said in the statement. Governor Jay Inslee thanked the Air National Guard from Washington and Oregon for scrambling jets, and said in a statement, there are still a lot of unknowns surrounding tonight's tragic incident.
Well,
And
then.
the guy used the tractor to push the plane onto the taxi.
Oh my word!
Was doing. Yeah.
I mean,
In any other
guess if you're
situation,
gonna
I would have
commit-
suspected that this was a Florida story, but this is not a Florida story.
This is
This
a
is a
Seattle
Washington.
story.
I guess
Yeah.
if you're gonna commit and you're gonna go out, you might as well do it in style. I will admit that loop was pretty fucking badass.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate the dude died, but holy crap, how did he pull that off? That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he went out in a blaze of glory. Well, not really a blaze, just.
I mean, it's definitely going to be one of the top stories of current year, that's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's that's on another level.
Mhm.
And I don't want to detract, but I do want to read this. So, Aaron,
Yo.
a tweet coming from Julia Borowski.
Julie
Yeah,
Borowski.
Julie Borowski.
Yeah, she's
To
one
To
of
be
the
fair, the Unite the Right crowd would have been larger if there wasn't
an anime convention in DC held at the same time.
Like,
Oh my god, she's right.
Yeah, I like Julie Borowski. Her videos are extraordinarily funny.
But that's one of the funniest tweets because you know you're going to have people from both the far right and the far left, or they're going to be freaking out about it. It's going to be fucking amazing. The responses on this are going to be priceless.
Yeah, really.
Now that we've handled the salty shit. Now it's
Yeah.
time. Now I was gonna cover the whole thing with the New York Times new hire, but to be quite honest, Short Fat Otaku did a much better and much more thorough job than what I was going to do. Although I do want to highlight one thing that he brought up, and that is that this Sarah Jong woman.
Ugh.
I will completely agree that I think she might be a sociopath.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there.
Especially since she doesn't see anything wrong with possibly outing somebody in somebody in China. And
Wait, what?
Okay.
Oh, this is about,
Yeah. Have
this is about
you ever
Sarah
heard of Naomi Wu, aka Sexy Cyborg?
Nope.
She basically got mad because, correct me if I'm wrong, if I remember correctly, she basically got mad because somebody made fun of her over the internet.
Of course.
With Naomi Wu, no, that's not what happened. The
Oh.
reason she got mad is actually justified.
Mm-hmm. This is the whole thing with Sarah Jong.
Because Sarah Jong at the time this went down was an editor at Vice.
Yeah.
And
is now working with the New York Times.
Yeah. She
is
is
this an older Mildred, just real quick, is this an older thing?
No, this is recent.
This is recent, and since Jong is working at the New York Times and the New York Times is trying to stand by her, I think it's relevant to make a case.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't heard about this yet. This should be fun.
Now, she is basically a tech lady who lives in Shenzhen, and Vice was going to be doing a bit of a documentary. She was perfectly fine with it, but she asked for a few things. no commenting, no bringing up her actual name, nothing about her gender, and nothing about relationships.
Wow.
And Vice violated that agreement. And there's been implications that Naomi is lesbian, which, yeah, that might not be a big deal in the States, but in China that could be a big damn deal, especially since the VPN that she uses in order to get in contact with a lot of her fan base is technically illegal over there.
Oh boy.
Oh,
outing her.
I thought communism was a woke ideology.
So she decided to retaliate by putting out the address of the guy that interviewed her, and it caused a bit of a shitstorm on both ends. But where Sarah Jong factors into this is that she tried to argue that she had spoken to some quote unquote best friends, and said that it's no big deal. She basically played the ethnic puppet.
Wait, so she talked to her waifus?
Sarah Jong definitely. She definitely talked to her waifus, and thankfully, Naomi Wu has managed to bounce back from this and is still doing her thing. But I think it ultimately goes to show that it's very telling that a site like Vice, which was high up on the enemy list during Gamergate,
Yep.
shows that they flagrantly have not only no sense of ethics but no sense of responsibility, which admittedly is pretty typical of people who drank the Kool-Aid.
That couldn't surprise anybody. Vice having ethics. There's a joke.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just blew the right people in order to make sure that they didn't have to pay attention to that part when getting their major.
Yeah, Gavin McGinnis must be beating himself up every night over finding that piece of shit. It's sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Vice. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Good intentions, bad execution.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What do they say? The road to hell is paved.
The road to hell. Yep.
Yeah. And Vice in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With that aside, and I do recommend watching his video. It is very long, but it is worth it. So he paints a very thorough picture about her. But it is once again time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is now time for your main event. And it is a double main event, aka no main event.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this the Polygon article?
Yeah.
We've got a twofer. In the blue corner, weighing in at 445 pounds of soy, we have Mashable. You decided to talk shit about Octopath Traveler.
Oh crap!
In the blue corner, weighing 455 stone.
That's pretty fucking heavy, man. That's probably like what, 3 tons?
91,000 pounds.
So yeah,
approximately
4.5 tons.
Is of course the undisputed reigning defending king of Salt 9, Polygon.
Yep.
Who decided to do a it's taken me 2 years to talk about Doom. And I don't think it's a coincidence that they bring it up they bring this sort of thing up after QuakeCon has come and gone, and people are hyped over Doom Eternal.
Okay, hey, Aaron, real quick.
Yo.
Every buzzword, one drink.
Yes.
Oh boy, here we go.
Speaking of drinks, we gotta get some drinks.
Game begin.
I gotta get a drink.
Let the drinking game begin.
Right.
This will be fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a 2-minute break. We will come back with drinks in hand.
I've also got food too. So.
All right, and then by the way, I have the hot take sacks queued up on my phone, so it might be playing. Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, I will be back.
Hilarious.
I will be back.
This is gonna be great.
And
God damn it. There you go. All right, I'm
I
back.
can't believe you actually went through with it.
Yes.
It's time to get woke, motherfuckers.
Yes. That's the new intermission, Sax, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God. So which do you think we should start with, Doom or Octopath?
Let's appetizer Octopath.
Yeah, Octopath.
All right, then let me get the screen share ready to go. One second. And I hear one getting cracked open.
Yeah.
Oh, damn right. I've been waiting all night for this.
Yeah. But this time I got some Crystal Light here, so
I've got some local root beer.
Alcoholic.
I've got some water, chimichangas, and chips.
yeah.
They fucking prepared.
Oh yeah.
Well, I haven't even had dinner yet, Mildred.
Well, there's that. But chimichangas. Should I do the whole gag of tell me who sent you? You're gonna die in 5 minutes.
Hey, we're not playing Wham as the fucking intermission music anymore. So we can't use it.
That's not. I'm not. Don't worry. I am not playing. I am not playing Wham on any public forum. Only in my personal space.
Wham.
Either I'm guessing it's either that or if you're jukebox bombing.
I mean, I guess we could get out the Voltron rings and everything, but that might seem a little contrived.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it could be worse. You could be dealing with the Voltron fan base right now.
Oh yeah. Oh God. I wasn't even meaning to make that reference. Fuck me.
Well, what happened? They got the Thundercats treatment?
No, it's because the end of season 7 for Legendary Defenders, some people got really pissy over how that was handled, and they're getting dangerously close to me having to say, you just went full Steven Universe. Never go full Steven Universe.
People are not too happy about it, to say the least.
Well, tough tits.
little irritating.
As we say on the farm in the Midwest, tough titty.
Exactly.
Now, I just have to point one thing out before we begin, Mildra. Just looking at the title, sexist drink.
Yep. Where's Flutter?
I think. Hey, Flutter, you dead?
Nope. Sorry about that. My mom and nephew came into the room.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, we got our first drink.
Yep. I drank as soon as Doku said so.
He says we need to talk about the sexist garbage in Octopath Traveler. Now, Octopath Traveler, I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I have it. I've just been really busy because I'm wrapping up one campaign, I'm doing another, and I'm setting up a miniatures game all in the span of less than a week.
I can see why they don't like Octopath. That chick is sexy.
But it then goes on and says Primrose is a grotesque cliche in Octopath Traveler. Drink.
Yep.
This was a bad idea.
That's what you said last week. No, this is a good idea. Invading Russia in winter is a bad idea.
Yeah, very bad idea.
In fact, I think I could probably open this up with the old Animaniacs gag of it's time for another good idea, bad idea.
Oh boy, here we go. This is gonna be fucking fun.
By Jess Joho. Who the fuck is that?
Wait, repeat that name real quick.
Jess Joho.
Nice cool bag, huh?
All right. Anyway, goes. This post includes spoilers for Octopath Traveler's story, but who cares? It sucks. Well, fuck you too.
Well, that's pretty presumptuous.
Jesus Christ.
Now, this is breaking my policy about spoilers, but unfortunately, if I were to skip the spoiler parts, we'd have to skip the whole article, and we're not doing that.
Nope. Spoiler warning. Continue.
We're just going to leave this bright spoiler on the back of your car, and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler may be purposely retro in its aesthetic and gameplay, but the game's most backward quality of all is by far the blatant misogyny. Drink. I need to get somebody who knows a thing or two about graphics, because RVT has the botch counter. We need a drink counter.
We really do.
Oh, I'm putting together something a little something right now. So,
oh boy,
you're gonna love this.
Get out!
Bad kitty. Bad kitty.
Flutter. It could be worse. You could be dealing with far worse cats, like say, Smealodon.
You could be working for BuzzFeed.
Yep. The whole place smells of cats.
Well, apparently that's going to be Monday Matt's next place of employment. So,
I wouldn't be surprised. Pussy, so I suppose it fits. Anyway, the pixelated art style of this new beloved JRPG. I'm drinking because I've made it very clear I hate the term JRPG.
Yeah, it's become quite the point of contention ever since Steam and what was the other one?
No, this goes all the way back. This goes all the way back to 2008.
Oh,
when everybody was doing the WRPG versus JRPG bullshit.
Oh,
that's how far back my grudge goes. And I explained this a few episodes on the Monastery, where I find the term JRPG to be a very circular definition, and and it's one that even Japan doesn't even use.
Well, I've always found that term to be kind of because
it's a catch-all term basically.
Well, that and
but it really
both BioWare's output and CD Projekt Red's output are considered WRPGs, even though even though the areas that they're made in couldn't be any more different. One is made in Soyland, the other in Poland.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing that when you hear a lot of these game quote unquote journalist websites use the term JRPG, they're specifically trying to refer to an art style, but they don't ever really actually talk about the game, the gameplay, or the mechanics.
Exactly.
No, it looks like anime. It
ridiculous.
must be a JRPG. It's like,
If that's the case, then Battle Chasers should count.
Yeah, but
technically you'd think.
Yeah, and of course, the usual freaking soy-addled crowd doesn't like anything from Japan because they think they're stuck in like the yayoi period or some shit.
Well, that's just because they don't like Japan, because Japan actually is nationalist and goes completely against their fucking bullshit. And it's like
It actually puts quality in their work. At least most of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they usually care about what they do. But,
anyways, let's move on, because looks positively modern in comparison to how it unnecessarily sexualizes, infantilizes, patronizes, and exploits the interests of nearly every one of its women characters. Skull!
I think that's a triple drink. That's a triple drink right there.
Oh yeah.
It's a shame that I'm wasting good root beer on this.
Oh God.
And okay, congratulations. You've dug out your thesaurus. What are you, Adam Sessler?
Oh yeah. Yeah, Mr. Bash the Fish.
The widespread success and popularity of Octopath Traveler took publisher Square Enix by total surprise, selling out so fast in Japan that the company publicly apologized twice. I think it was because of the fact that they underestimated how much stock they'd have to print out.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, company publicly apologizing. Drink.
Yep.
Cool. Except, I looked at it. It apparently is due to the fact that they understocked it.
Ah.
So I don't think it's going to count for this one.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, fair enough.
Because when it made its way to America on the Switch in July, it was to rave reviews that earned it a Metacritic score of 84. Critics showered it with praise for its blend of nostalgia and innovation, while admitting that the stories of its 8 different main characters were little more than juvenile cliches.
Okay, with all of that in combination, drink.
Yeah.
School.
You hear that sound effect that I have?
Yeah.
It worked.
It works. It sounds like you've got beer on tap.
Yep. I'm going back. I'm playing that sound all the whole night.
You seem concerned with which of those characters suffered the most from its tropey mess of a script, giving a pass to the sexism it resurrects from a bygone era in the game. Yeah, that's a drink. Let's see. And Primrose saying, now this isn't right. Shutting up pretty girls in a miserable place like this.
Okay, no, fuck that. That's a drink.
Yep.
That is
no,
drink.
What, Primrose saying that?
That sentence in its entirety.
Yeah.
And then them saying, I wish I could believe this was a self-aware criticism.
Oh, that's a double drink right there.
Yep.
That's a double drink.
Cool. And moving on, he goes, there's a clear gendered difference between how the male and female protagonist storylines played out.
Fuck, this was a bad idea.
We've seen this in the genre before, though JRPGs often get a pass, and it links to some article from Kotaku saying JRPGs, you're better than this.
Of course.
Perhaps because American writers use
things. Come on.
Perhaps because American writers use cultural differences, drink,
yep,
as an excuse, or simply don't bother taking these stories very seriously. Well, if you're any indication, I'd say we shouldn't take stories seriously.
Yeah, really.
But I'm tired of excuses for why we should ignore this bullshit. I wish we could ignore your dumbass. To its credit, Octopath Traveler does have an even gender split. Why the fuck should that even matter?
Doesn't even matter. You know what? Pour me a glass.
BRB, refill.
But the portrayal of women is a noticeable regression from JRPGs with solid women protagonists. Consider Final Fantasy VI's Terra and Celes. Celes, I will grant. Terra, I will not. She was a fucking doormat.
Yeah.
But that sentence does indeed count as drink.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Trails.
One more bartender.
Well, that's beer one done. Let's see.
Let me guess. Compare the roster to two of the most popular characters in all of Final Fantasy.
That and also bringing up Tales of the Sky or Valkyrie Profile. But since they didn't mention any characters from Tales in the Sky or Valkyrie Profile, and using Lenneth as "quote unquote" solid is a bit of a stretch.
Which means they probably never played the latter two games.
And then it goes, it is perhaps the wasted potential of Octopath's female protagonists, whose stories always manage to revolve around the men in their lives.
That's a drink.
Really?
Female protagonists and the men in their lives? Yeah, that's a drink.
And also, yeah.
Look, let me make this clear. Stop using the Bechdel test. It doesn't work. The only times that it does work are for movies that you would never consider "quote unquote" feminist. And even Bechdel herself has distanced herself from the damn thing.
Yeah, it was a joke.
The joke
could really blame her.
This one's for the RVT crew. If anybody from there is watching, that's the joke.
You suck, Big Mildra.
All right. And saying that apparently a conversation with a tavern patron saying word around town is the dancers put on private shows for the master, if you know what I mean. And this idiot's response is saying this is only one of two townsfolk who giggle at rape.
Drink. Pour me one, bartender.
That's a drink.
All right. Primrose's origin story begins with shades of Arya Stark. If Arya chose to become a sex worker instead of an assassin, and her entire personality revolves around A, being like really hot. Drink for spelling it like it's supposed to be the fucking 90s, and B, whoring for daddy. Oh, like you're doing right in this fucking article?
That's a fucking drink right there.
Got the sound effect timed perfectly with that one.
Anyway,
after surviving her noble father's assassination, Lady Primrose went into hiding as the tavern's prized dancer. She and the other dancers are regularly beaten, starved, and raped by their master. Yet Primrose is only motivated into leaving these abhorrently abusive conditions when one of the men who killed her father happens to walk in. I haven't played Octopath, but I get the feeling that is a bit bullshit.
Yeah, it sounds a little too further from the truth.
Yeah, that being said, though, it does sound like a viable backstory for a character that I would find intriguing.
Yeah,
I just get the feeling that their interpretation here is suspect.
Yeah, this is, but still,
there's probably an agenda.
Yeah, and besides, when it comes to I'm surprised they haven't complained about Maya from fucking Dragon Quest yet.
Well, that again, you're implying that they actually play games.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they saw Maya in fucking playing Dragon Quest 4 on that DS, they'd flip their shit.
If they saw either of the twins, they'd flip if they saw either of the twins or hell, if they popped open their PS2 and saw Jessica, they would really flip their shit.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well, we
yeah.
saw how they reacted to that one scene in Far Cry, so I think we all know what the reaction would be.
Let's see. Inexplicably, the town folk make jokes about the dancers getting raped and lusting for the private viewings that their master forces them to do for him at night, if you know what I mean.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it. That counts. Drink.
Yep, counts for me.
All of those ordeals don't seem to hinder Primrose at all, as she flirtatiously uses her special skill of seducing people into following her with a dance.
Oh my god.
That's not too far removed from how the dancer archetype has been used in Final Fantasy for years.
Yes, they have. Yeah, obviously they haven't played enough Final Fantasy. They haven't even played fucking Dragon Quest. Shit, aren't there any other fucking? I know there's a couple freaking RPGs that utilize dancers.
Actually, if you've ever watched Horizon on the Middle of Nowhere, which is a clusterfuck of an anime, but still amusing as hell, there is literally a character where dancing is specifically sensual dancing, which I think it's hilarious, but apparently, according to the anime, it's sensual dancing is actually literally her power. So this is nothing new, especially coming out of anime.
I'd also be remiss if I did not bring up John from the Suikoden games, who seemed to get less and less clothing as the games went on.
Yeah, this is not a new phenomenon. This has been going on since the mid-90s.
So basically like Ivy. Because Ivy, as the games went on, she's starting to wear less and less.
Yeah. Apparently, these people have been living under a rock when it comes to this particular genre.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot worse than erotic dancing going on in this type of genre.
Yeah, and same goes with Dead or Alive until they got woke.
Yeah, I know that Light over on a separate server is trying to play apologetics, but they're gonna get what's coming to them. Anyway, she goes on to say, in fact, the trauma of the place that taught her to dance appears completely divorced from all the fun she has using her sexuality as her main weapon and contribution to the team.
Is that a drink?
That sounds like bullshit to me.
Is that a drink?
There's a bit of a saying that the best comedians had the worst upbringings.
That's because you got to be able to laugh at the irony and the darkness in life. Because guess what, life ain't fair.
Yep.
Anyway,
you can't laugh at it, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
This results in jarring scenes where 1 minute her master is beating her, calling her pet names like kitten, telling her where she should put her mouth, threatening to rape and kill her unless she finds more patrons, only for Primrose to saunter outside and obey by performing an adorable, winky, coy dance animation for a man on the street.
I'm going to have to get my hands on this game and see if that actually happens, because if it doesn't, whoa, I am waving the bullshit flag here.
Yeah.
You got to get woke. Got to get woke there. Also, between those two sentences, drink.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He goes on to say, I'm all for sexual empowerment or reclaiming what was once traumatizing for yourself, but this isn't what it looks like.
Also drink.
According to you, and I call bullshit on you being for sexual empowerment because you're the same kind of publication that tried to essentially slut shame Ivy.
Yeah, trying to be like the Mary Whitehouse of gaming. Seriously. And for that,
and drink.
This kind of careless mishandling of Primrose is a result of writers who want to use women's trauma to give a thin character some semblance of personality or depth.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's drink because anyone getting some Gail Simone flashbacks here?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
But her trauma is conveniently forgotten about for lighthearted moments when Primrose needs to be the fun, sexy one. Has it ever occurred to you that people who have gone through trauma will overcompensate to not act in a way that's going to remind them of that shit?
Yeah.
Has it ever occurred to this writer that, yes, sexuality is a very effective weapon, even in the real world?
Yeah. Now I want to interject here is, I wonder if she defended James Gunn, because this is right around the same fucking ballpark.
Maybe.
A little bit. It very, very questionative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was at one point in chapter 2 of her story, she gives a little hee giggle while talking about the things that used to happen in the tavern. Nope. And then goes, youthful beauty and male masters seem to be the prerequisites for the women heroes.
Oh, drink.
Drink,
Yeah.
and I'm calling bullshit on that.
Yep.
Throughout Octopath, sex workers and sex slaves are routinely murdered and used as background props. A creepy undercurrent of daddy-daughter dynamics runs through most of them.
Have they shown their work?
That counts. Drink.
Yeah, if you haven't shown your work, that's a drink.
Oh my god.
One scene encapsulates the weirdly fetishistic vibes embedded into Octopath's depiction of fathers and daughters. A father goes...
That counts too. Drink.
Yep.
A father goes to a pimp with the sob story of how his daughter killed herself after being raped. But he's not grieving for her, he's grieving for himself, for the loss of having a little girl to dress up like his living incestuous sex doll.
Drink.
Yeah, that's a drink of the worst fucking kind. What the shit? Mildred, can you just reread that so I can wrap my head around it?
No, because I don't feel like giving myself any more mental pain.
Yeah, I had to replay that sound 3 times because of that shit.
That is... Oh, what the
The liquor is flowing.
Oh, jeez. What on earth? That is...
See, he's elated to be given a sex slave in direct replacement for his sullied dead daughter.
What kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah, I'm calling it.
Yeah, that's a drink.
This absurd scene goes completely unaddressed, as if it's not the most messed up shit you've ever seen in your goddamn life. Well, it only is the most messed up shit if you live a very sheltered life, like I'm sure this writer has.
Probably.
But it tracks with the countless other inexplicable instances of infantilizing, sexually charged scenes between father figures and young girls.
More, for them always excusing what James Gunn does this shit, and of course they pretend to be outraged about this shit. That is some bullshit. And you know what,
drink, bro?
And you know what?
Yeah, drink. This is a horrible idea. This is not a good idea.
You say that every week, Doku, and you still survive.
Yeah. You got a cast iron liver, dude.
One day articles like this are going to kill me. And when I get to heaven, they're going to ask me why, and they're going to send me straight to hell when I tell them the reason.
Nah, they probably said, we'll let you in. That's punishment enough.
Yeah, probably.
And she goes on to say, and it's hard to even justify this portrayal of trauma as lazy world building. Okay, let's see the link here. It's a into the trash it goes.
Bye-bye.
She's linking women as background decoration from feminist frequency.
Oh god, fucking Sarkeesian.
Fucking drink.
Keep it coming, bartender. Keep it coming, bartender.
The keg's gonna run dry before you even finish this article.
Get a new keg.
I hope you got a second one on tap. You're gonna need it.
I'm glad that I'm glad that I would never use Guinness for this kind of drinking game because I would be dead.
Oh, I don't think you
heard
could make
that
it through the first half.
You heard that shit's potent as a motherfucker.
Guinness is a meal. I can go with just give me one pint of that and I'm done for the night. But
this is not a good idea.
As lazy world building to convey Octopath's gritty, cruel vision of society. Well, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, ain't no sunshine when you're okay. I'm not gonna say that. I can't think of it.
Ain't no sunshine when you're so.
Ain't no sunshine when she's woke.
And it's entirely inconsistent with the comparatively rosy world experienced by every other character. Well, have you ever considered that you can have both in a setting? Like you can have noble bright and grim dark?
Exactly. Porque no los dos?
And maybe the story was supposed to be dark in the first place. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's like she doesn't even know the basic elements of storytelling.
Exactly.
Dude, are you trying to play a video game that's Game of Thrones, or were you expecting My Little Pony? What the fuck is going on here? The fuck out of here.
Wait, what was your comparison?
Uh-oh.
I said, are you expecting a video game depicting My Little Pony or Game of Thrones? What the fuck is going on here? Seriously, you're playing a fucking... First off, JRPGs, as much as I hate to use that term, but we'll go with the term the article is going to use, are not exactly known for having, bright and happy storylines.
No.
Even if they're
Final Fantasy 6 and 7, everybody?
Fuck, any like 75% of any Japanese game that's come out of there. Shit.
A bunch of the soy boys love sucking Earthbound's dick so much. Have you seen the kind of shit that goes on in the Mother series?
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Never mind the fact that the final boss was inspired from the director thinking that he saw a rape.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The more cutesy that a video game coming out of Japan looks, the darker I expect the storyline to be, because they kind of have a thing for that. They present you with something really cutesy, and it's like, oh, this is adorable. And then you get like halfway into it, and you're like, this is dark as fuck.
Yeah. I remember when Madoka started airing, and a bunch of people thought it was just a Sailor Moon wannabe until episode 3 happened.
Oh, are you talking about Madoka Magica?
Yep.
It's like, hey, look at the gigantic candy monster.
Refrigerator.
Yeah, look at the gigantic candy monster. Oh, it just bit off her head.
Yeah. There's a refrigerator referencing that exact scene.
Yeah, and when I posted that, I got a lot of people pissed.
Yes.
Well, dude, that's because a bunch of people were expecting Sailor Moon, and up until the end of episode 3, they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be adorable," and no.
I knew not to expect that because
Richie's other works, like Kamen Rider Gaim, are pretty much as dark as Madoka Magica.
Yeah. Not to mention, I knew to expect better because it was written by the Butcher, who previously had somebody play harp on somebody's organs.
Oh.
And yeah, in the Fate Zero novel.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also was directed by Akiyuki Shinbo. And animated by Studio Shaft, I had previously known for Zetsubo Sensei.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, it was Studio Shaft and not Studio Madhouse?
No, it was Shaft.
Yeah. And you know who else? Yeah. And you know who else used to do this shit? Their Lord and Savior Disney. Back when they had some balls. You ever seen their shit from the 40s and 60s?
Yeah.
They tend to churn out some scary ass shit.
Yeah. Bambi?
Oh, yeah, they're dark as fuck.
Beauty?
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah,
I'd
the
also
original.
be remiss if I did not point out spooky, scary skeletons. Speak
Oh,
with such a shriek.
Well, no, and that's a good point because the original Little Mermaid, yeah, she got legs, but she died. That
Yeah,
was
she
kind of the
died
whole
and
point.
she didn't get her voice back.
Yeah, and actually, the Rage of Bahamut second season actually touched on that one, and it's kind of interesting how they repurposed it. And
Hell,
then,
Little Red Riding Hood, she actually gets eaten by the big bad wolf.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
it's
that's a
eaten.
German fairy tale. They can get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
well, and also with what was it? The Sleeping Beauty. It's like, yeah, she gets raped.
Oh, speaking of German's fairy tales, if any of these idiots ever watched The Neverending Story, come on, there is some nightmarish shit in that movie.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
fairy tales are fairy tales for a reason. They teach you a moral, and
Yeah,
they're usually not good ones.
they're
No.
not supposed to be sunshine and rainbows like they're advertised. Yeah.
anyway, she goes on to say, I can already hear the "well, actually" excuse, because that all of this is the game trying to show how bad evil men objectify women or reduce them to a Madonna whore dichotomy or value them
Oh
based on
God.
their
One.
purity,
drink.
appearance,
Oh,
or
my
relationship
God.
with men.
Shot of Jameson.
And drink.
Shot of Jameson, please.
Bartender, fill me up.
Keep it coming.
Never
we're
mind the fact that people of her ilk will do that exact same thing. So to Quokay.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes, I'd be willing to suspend my disbelief if the game didn't do all those things to its other female characters. And I get the feeling that the screenshots that they've taken are done out of context.
Yep.
Most likely.
And then it goes, whether or not it knows it, Octopath Traveler perpetuates the same vile treatment of women as the villains it tries to condemn.
Drink.
So I guess she's expecting Square Enix to release a Respecting Woman edition.
Like hell they are.
Oh goodness.
This is Japan. They don't give a shit.
He goes, the notion that women would rather die than live with the shame of rape or sex work is a sentiment put into the mouth of so-called ruined women. Except that's not too far removed from how it was seen at one point in time.
You know what, barkeep? Pour me another.
Oh,
Pour me another.
this was a horrible fucking idea. Oh, why? Why?
And nobody contradicts these characters. The game does little to disavow its audience on the belief that on some level it's true.
Oh, where.
What's next? Is she expecting Conan the Barbarian to stop from killing and fucking to talk about how much he respects women?
He didn't even do that in Red Sonja.
We do not talk about Red Sonja.
Oh, I don't give a fuck. I like Brigitte Nielsen back in the 80s was hot.
Yeah, but that's not enough to save a shit script.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, she didn't even get top billing, and apparently, there's that whole story that Arnold used to threaten his kids that if they didn't behave, he would sit them downstairs and make them watch that movie.
Oh my God.
I'm not sure if that counts as child abuse, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. Plus, I didn't think she didn't even get naked in that movie.
The physical beauty of 3 out of 4 of the women protagonists is referenced throughout. It's
Yeah,
remarked
and?
on when it's remarked on whenever Primrose is on screen. Tressa's Captain Savior focuses on it when they meet, even though she's a child. Well, if she's a child, then she'd be right up Mashable's alley.
Yeah, of course.
The religious Ophelia's own father figure feels the need to praise it in his daughters.
Fuck.
Oh,
You know what?
daddy
that
issues.
I think that counts.
Yep, daddy issues means we're breaking out the Thunderbird.
Drink.
On the daddy front, there are just a few too many instances of women's fathers serving as replacement for their own character motivation.
More daddy issues.
I think this person is. I think I'm starting to think that this writer has daddy issues.
Yep.
Yeah. Ophelia and Liana's story is so ludicrously centered around their paternal figure that Liana betrays Ophelia on the off chance that some dude might bring him back from the dead.
Oh, what the hell is this idiot's problem?
This is. Oh my
I've
goodness.
heard. And hang on I just realized something. If you look
What?
very close at the screenshot right in the right corner, you notice two things. One, a watermark of MDN, I think it says, and what looks like a small box with some lettering I can't read.
Ooh, we got some plagiarism. Someone's been stealing copyrighted material.
I see that on one other image. I decided to scroll up to see if it's on any of the other images. I see it on one other, which leads me to believe that she didn't even play the game. She just watched somebody doing a walkthrough.
Yeah, she didn't even play the game. She basically did this Anita Sarkeesian style.
She was watching Markiplier.
Yep.
Anyways, she goes, or to summarize the sentiment passed between them in the screenshot below, women be crazy and stupid.
Self-awareness. I think that counts as a drink.
If you guys don't hear from me tomorrow, it means I'm dead. This is only the first article, right? We have another one after this?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Maybe this focus on their youth, appearances, and fathers wouldn't feel so gross if it happened to literally any of the male characters, but it doesn't. Youthful beauty and male masters seem to only be prerequisites for the women heroes in Octopath Traveler. Citation.
Show your work, please.
The infantilization, frailty, and male superiors are traits so ubiquitous to the women of Octopath Traveler. Drink.
Drink.
It goes beyond just protagonists. Even Cyrus's story begins with two female students fighting each other over his attention. How is that any different from when that trope is used in anime so many times?
Yeah.
All I have to say is this.
Yep.
How many are we at, Doku?
Number 4.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're only at 4. We're that I'd call that an improvement.
Yeah, really.
Better than last time, but article number 1. I'm already 3 deep, so technically, I just cracked number 7.
Okay. He's forced to leave the school to spare the princess involved in any social destitution from the mere hint that she might be impure. Like how your kind will ostracize someone for the mere hint that they're not woke enough. I can do this all day and all night.
Yeah, all the self-owning.
Please don't do it all day and all night, because I will fucking be dead within the next 2.5 hours.
I'm just saying the whole throw their own words back at them. I have grown quite inventive over the years when it comes to that shit. Anyways, she goes, We don't hear anything about how the princess feels at all about all of it, because it's not her story. Because Octopath is in no way concerned with how women feel in general. No, it's concerned about the 8 people who are central to the story.
Yep, and also,
Yeah. I was trying to avoid that one, but fucking drink.
But it's emblematic of another funny characteristic all the women in this game share. Female friendships end with death, despair, or schisms born from their obsession with a man.
that's a life lesson, man.
I've seen plenty of kabuki stories that show love as tragic.
Yeah. Also, Shakespeare, other fucking plays. Come on, it's
Yeah,
old.
it's not unique to a single medium. Surprisingly enough, hey, guess what? The opposite sex is actually attracted to the opposite sex, and
Biology, man.
propagation of the human race, and
Yeah, it's like they don't
normal motherfuckers.
Yeah, ignore. Yeah, what the fuck is biology to these people?
A social construct.
Apparently.
Whatever that. And anyway, goes on. Coded into the gameplay itself. Then there's the gender divide embedded into the combat mechanics. Classes and special skills attributed to each character. Though you eventually unlock secondary classes, by default the men are a warrior, apothecary, soldier, not soldier, scholar, and a thief. The women are a dancer, or as the game describes, a whore. I describe your article as that, actually. A cleric.
That's an honorary drink.
Yep.
A cleric, the picture of pure version of feminine servitude. We're going with this, huh?
Son of a bitch.
And a merchant.
Oh my god! I guess they never. Do not ever give them a copy of Ogre Battle.
No, I think they would look at it and they'd read the manual sideways like Gaston.
I have a bigger question. I have yet to see a fantasy property selling dresses or lipstick. That's a gender thing now. I thought it was always about like robes and swords. Am I mistaken?
Well, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna argue that the Kuni witch hunters in L5R wearing their face paint is somehow gendered, even though all that they're doing is wearing kabuki style face paint to make their faces look intimidating.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I guess.
Even though Kuni witch hunters aren't something that's limited to a specific gender.
Right.
But does that mean I can throw lipstick canisters as like grenades or some shit against fucking werewolves or vampires? Like...
Well, Claire and Kitty Grade had a lipstick whip, so I don't see why not.
Hey, whatever works.
Like it would be viable.
Anyways,
yeah, that'd be some like James Bond shit, though. Have your fucking lipstick become like a C4 explosive or something.
Hey, it works. It would actually probably make sense.
Yeah. Anyways, she goes, the most empowering female character is by far the hunter. Drink for the term empowering when I'm pretty sure she does not know what that word means. Though notably, even Hanit falls into the trap of having her motivations tied exclusively to finding her missing master. A man clearly less competent than her, but still somewhat her superior.
Oh, soggy knees.
Definitely drink. Definitely fucking drink. This was a mistake.
Yep.
Primrose and Ophelia are the only two characters whose predominant special skill is to call on someone more powerful than them for assistance in battle. You know, because summoning is not a thing.
Yeah, really.
And
Tressa
also
has
that
the-
entire sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drink. Tressa also has a summoning ability tied to her job, and Hanit's hunter skill lets her summon animals. Again, I'd be willing to overlook this if any of the male characters' special skills were at all tied to summoning others for help. But their abilities are all markedly more self-sufficient and grounded in raw power, competence, and intelligence. The men get to challenge people to sword battles, glean useful information, steal valuable items, and concoct potions.
Okay, you know what? That is actually basically taking a shit on women. And also drink.
Oh yeah, I was gonna lay it down, but considering the content of that shit and when you put it in that context, yeah.
That's like, wow. You is the person that's writing this article a female or a male?
Whoever they are, they're drowning in soy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's it's pretty fucking disrespectful to women. I know quite a few women that could beat the ever living crap out of you.
Yeah.
Really.
That's not. I know quite a few women that couldn't, but there's definitely quite a few women that could. And making that blanket statement is probably not what you would want to say to some of the women I know that
Of course.
could beat the ever living shit out of you, because they would.
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably not a good idea.
And she goes,
And-
"Don't get."
yeah.
She then goes on. Don't get me wrong. These issues don't originate and are not exclusive to Octopath Traveler. They're grounded in mechanics and stories of many role-playing games of the past, and as well as a deep-seated misogyny buried in us all.
Drink.
Drink for trying to treat misogyny as original sin.
Yeah, misogynies.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Exactly.
I really want her to stop using the word misogyny because I'm going to run out of beer.
Yeah.
Please stop.
But that doesn't mean the shitty sidelining of women is inherent to the genre. We've heard the arguments justifying these reductive depictions of women in these kind of games already, and they mostly come down to historical accuracy or the excuse of archetypal characters.
Oh,
Linked.
keep it coming, bartender.
Okay, the first one is a Gama Sutra link, and the second one is a Kotaku link.
Oh my god,
keep it
please
coming,
tell me this
bartender.
article is over. That was
One more for the road.
That's
that was not a drink, that was a chug. Ugh.
Yeah.
As far as historical accuracy goes, it's odd that the fantasy genre, literally defined by its deviation from reality, necessitates treating women like garbage in order to make worlds with magic and dragons more believable. The archetypal defense might have more grounds, but if it didn't seems to conflate archetypes with tropes. Okay, let me get this out of the way right fucking now.
First the fuck off. That is such a load of bullshit. As someone who writes in that genre, you are fucking wrong. Go fuck yourself. That is insulting as shit.
Yeah, and number two, doesn't she watch Game of Thrones? That's a bit fucking hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
The fantasy genre has produced some of the strongest female characters you will ever fucking see. Even making that statement, I literally take fucking personal offense to. And I'm a evil cis white male. That is fucking bullshit. Whoever the fuck wrote this article, get the fuck out. Like, shut the fuck up. You
Put
need
your
to be
fucking head
BTFO'd.
down and put your fucking head down and
Put your motherfucking back down.
yeah, put your motherfucking head down while grown folks is talking, biatch.
Yep. Now,
That shit is
I'm going to add
insulting.
one more. I'm going to add one more piece to this, and that is the fact that when a game that actually was trying to utilize a degree of, instead of using their term, I will use mine, historical believability. They tried to claim that he was wrong and and even though he was getting actual research and lived in that area, they tried to act like a guy from fucking Tumblr somehow knew more about ancient Bohemia.
And guess
Yeah,
what?
I'm bringing up Kingdom Come because if you're going to say that historical accuracy doesn't count because fantasy, then I'm going to bring up that you tried to argue that historical fantasy still didn't count when it wasn't trying to be fantasy.
Dude, I fucking write in the realm of high fantasy, and I've had morons tell me you can't write about this or write about that. One of my favorite characters is a fucking female dark elf. What the fuck? Yeah, like it's a moronic argument. Like what?
I can't write about female dark elves because your fucking favorite character is like female dark elf? Get the fuck out of there with that shit.
Yeah, apparently it's offensive. What? Like
for all intents and purposes shouldn't be.
Exactly.
Somebody tried to argue that a character in one of my old projects was actually trans because after they went through a rite of passage, they ended up switching genders. When that was never the point that I was trying to make. The point that I was trying to make was you are leaving behind your old self to embrace a new duty. Exactly. And that duty is going to continue for the rest of your life. Therefore, who you were in the past, it no longer matters. I was basically to make a point of comparison. I'm pretty sure you've all seen Men in Black, yes?
Yes.
Yep.
So you remember how there's that speech that Zed gives where he talks about putting on the last suit you'll ever wear. That everything about you before you signed on with MIB no longer happens.
This is what you are. Like this is what you are now.
Yeah. He was no longer James III. He was Jay. And that went as far as removing his fingertips, removing every bit of personal info, even going all the way to his birth certificate. You do not exist. All I did was take that a step further in that this new identity you are taking goes to the point of changing your physical appearance completely.
Exactly.
I remember Kingdom of Paradise, which was an underrated PSP game, had a similar thing with some of the clan leaders, where they would go through what was known as a living funeral. Furthermore, I've operated by a very simple policy when it comes to fantasy fiction. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can do anything with fantasy. That does not mean that you should do everything.
Exactly.
Anyway,
it has to make sense.
Yeah,
if it doesn't make sense, then don't do it.
Basically, you can drive your car.
Shoehorning in something that shouldn't even be content.
Yeah, it's like you can drive your car with your feet. That doesn't actually make it a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of fantasy.
There was literally someone who had a pretty much who had pretty much rams for tires, had like half of his car like broken, and he was sitting on a damn bucket instead of a seat while he was driving.
Oh my word.
Well, I think that's the beauty of fantasy is you can literally create an entire world.
Yeah.
Regardless of what your political
why do you think the term world building is even a term?
Yeah. But
that's kind of the whole point is like, look, if you're going to go with high fantasy or epic fantasy, whatever way you want to describe it, it gives you literally complete and total creative freedom. it's very difficult to do a story like that because you do have to literally build a world and a history and present it in a way that is at least somewhat believable. But you can't just necessarily mirror the real world, because if at that point it wouldn't be fantasy, it would just be essentially glorified social commentary. You really do have to create your own world. And that's why Game of Thrones is so incredibly successful. But at the same time, it's like, look, regardless of my political beliefs, I'm not going to inject that into my story because it's going to make it turn into shit.
It's bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to create Game of Thrones. I don't want to create fucking Squirrel Girl. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. I'm not going to pander to fucking... Anyways, continue, Mildred.
She goes, archetypes are prototypical characteristics and traits that date back to the traditions of oral storytelling. A trope, on the other hand, is a cliche inherited by pop culture that writers fall back on instead of creating anything remotely nuanced or original.
She knows nothing about fucking storytelling. Get the fuck out of there with that shit.
One, you completely fucked that up. Two, that is special pleading. 3, fuck off.
Anyway, this is not a storyteller.
And 4, you can get a slap for that.
And
drink.
Yep. Let's drink to that.
Fuck.
To be fair, she says most of Octopath's characters and stories are unoriginal, with fewer dimensions than its pixelated art style.
Says who?
Yeah, and never mind that originality is not a basis of quality. But the male cliches are infinitely more empowering and at least tied to their own individual interests, desires, and passions, rather than perpetuated by a father figure.
Pour me another one.
By the end of Primrose's story, the game seems oddly self-aware that it gave her absolutely zero character motivation or personality outside of her father. Oh, it sounds like they gave her plenty of character motivation. You just chose not to see it.
Yeah, you just read like the Cliff Notes version of the Cliff Notes version of the Cliff Notes version.
By the way, her mom's barely mentioned as usual. Drink. She climactically goes to her father's grave and all but shrugs, because now that Daddy's been avenged, she has no idea who she is or even what she wants. Except, how is that any different from any other revenge story?
Yeah, right. Really.
It's not. That's literally the ABCD textbook version of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes, but sure, for the sake of argument, let's say this bullshit is just how fantasy works, and compare Octopath Traveler to another modern fantasy story that dives into a multitude of different characters' perspectives. The TV adaptation of Game of Thrones. Fucking drink!
God damn it!
Son of a bitch. Oh, god damn.
TV adaptation of Game of Thrones might get criticized for using rape as a plot device while negating the trauma of women. The only person who argued that shit is the Mary Sue.
And also,
But
drink.
the books don't. Instead, bring readers into the minds of archetypal women as they seek power and survival within an oppressive patriarchal society. Why do I get the feeling that she reads that whole line of all men must die with one hand?
Oh god. Yep. Pour another one.
Drink up, motherfuckers.
And lo and behold, it results in women being treated as actual people rather than someone's concept of a woman. Well, that's partially because there's also the fact that George R.R. Martin is a fucking hack, and he's a soy boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course she's going to go right along with the book version. And I am sorry, but if you want to see somebody writing female characters without fucking it up, Brandon Sanderson has done a very good job of that, and he puts out 3 or 5 times more shit than Martin does.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
you're talking
besides,
about the dude who finished the Wheel of Time series?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and fucking
he's
Martin.
a very good writer.
Yeah, and fucking Martin, the guy's gold bricking on his next book.
Yeah.
And how long has it taken him?
I don't know. The fucking show's already two seasons ahead of it.
When they were catching up to where he had written, the HBO basically said, "Fuck it, we're doing things on our own," and they're all but done. I think they pretty much are done.
Yeah, they're finishing after the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and George R. R. Martin tried to blame it, and the first 2-3 years, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, maybe they have a point where, yeah, he's going to a lot of conventions and shit, so he hasn't really had the time. But it's like, dude, it's been 10 years since you've released a book.
Yeah, and number 2 is like he's all shook because now you got other guys that are even better writers try to get noticed, and he shuts them down by giving them a fucking no award. Wasn't he on their fucking voting committee over at the goddamn Hugos?
Yeah, the Hugo Awards. And it's like, George R. R. Martin, go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah.
And also, his writing is so fucking tedious to try to read through.
The only way I got through it was an audio version of it, and I would just listen to that while I was working.
Don't get me wrong. When it comes to writing, my writing is tedious, but his writing takes the fucking cake.
We're
talking worse than Kojima.
Yeah.
At least Kojima when he gets the level of length that he does with his cutscenes, that is at least because he very much is a huge fan of cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and the problem with George R. R. Martin is this is my favorite example to explain why he's very good, but also very bad, depending on who you talk to. Is he can spend an entire page, 3.5 paragraphs, describing a fucking pie.
Yeah.
It's like considering his size, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's some of the best writing he actually does, though, is describing food. And I'm not talking about the dude's weight. It's just, dude, you just spent like a page and a half describing a fucking pie. Like, can we get back to?
I wonder if he was writing that with one hand.
He's like, yeah, apparently George R. R. Martin is to pies as Vince McMahon is to bodybuilders.
Hey, I gotta say the guy's a good writer, but it's just, can you write about things that people actually want to read about? Like, we want to read about dragons, not pies. So, can you?
But she finishes with women don't have to be betrayed this way in Octopath or any other game in fantasy setting. We just have to care enough to demand better and then do better.
And drink.
Yep. And I will close off that one with the fact that of all people, Reset Era called out Mashable saying this is bullshit.
Damn.
How fucked do you have to be when the Soy Empire is calling you out?
Pretty fucked.
But I will probably. But once my schedule frees up a little more, I will probably play some Octopath and rub it right in this person's face. Jess Joho, who let me see if it shows what they happen to look like.
Actually, sounds like a pretty fun game now that I've heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Oh, fucking course with the goddamn duck face.
Oh.
She calls herself an internet witch and Khaleesi of hell.
Khaleesi.
Oh,
Khaleesi of hell.
Oh God.
And I'm sorry, but ramen ramen is not a substitute for hair.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, just because she looks like that.
Also, Khaleesi of hell. Undead ramen?
Oh my God. You know what?
No, don't bring her into this.
You know what? And since she
No, Mildred, I'm bringing her into this due to the fact that she actually fits better for that nickname.
Yeah.
Because go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, and you know what? Because she got the duck face and trying to name herself as a Khaleesi, trying to think she's fucking Daenerys. Well, she could get a slap for that.
And Mildred's going through her work.
And
Oh, God.
yep.
Oh,
Criminy.
look at all these reviews, guys. I bet she's a really credible journalist.
She needs a man.
Into the trash it goes. Now, on to the other main event.
oh,
Yes.
God,
Polygon. It's taken me an essay said that's quote. It's taken me 2 years to finally face the new doom. Violence makes me feel queasy by Colin Campbell.
Oh, so basically he's making the Jack Thompson excuse. Lovely.
This is
lovely.
This is gonna be horrible.
Yep, strap in, folks.
All right. Hey, Aaron.
Yo.
Cheers.
Yep.
Here we fucking go. This is gonna be fucking fun.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Oh goodness. All right, Mildred, let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
All
get
right.
on with it.
He goes, it's taken me 2 years to finally sit down and play 2016's Doom, which is bad because it was our game of the year.
What?
What?
Apparently, taken in the context of a lifetime playing games, this delay strikes me as odd. Back when the original Doom dominated gaming, I'd have never waited so long to play a stonking new shooter. I'd have been enjoying the carnage on release day. When I was younger, I lapped up violent games. Sure you did. I played through the original Doom many times. Sure you did.
Bullshit.
I spent a lot of time engaging in ferocious Quake 2 contests.
Bullshit.
I loved GoldenEye and Halo.
Bullshit.
I gorged on action movies and video nasties.
Oh, bullshit.
I got a buzz out of violence.
You know, if you have to list out these fucking games and say, "Oh, I'm just like you," you can tell 9 times out of 10 they're full of shit.
And the only way you can salvage that is Elvira shows up and says, "I'm you," except with bigger tits.
Exactly.
The fact the writer of this fucking article even had to say that shit, it's like, no, you didn't. No one who ever played these video games speaks like that. You're a fucking liar.
Yes.
In real life, I got in lots of fights. Bullshit.
You probably lost a lot of them.
Because I played so many video games, guys.
Oh, I got in a lot of fights. I'm such a tough guy.
I was bullied, guys. I was bullied.
He was bullied.
I bet you 10 to 1 this idiot wears like a Punch Nazis shirt.
Probably.
Yeah.
From school playgrounds to barroom brawls. Now I'm really calling bullshit because nobody gets in lots of barroom brawls. Unless they're... the only kind of people who are going to get in barroom brawls frequently are old school wrestlers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I used to play video games like this, and people would actually buy me drinks over talking about, did you ever play Doom? Or did you ever play Quake? Like, yeah, we all played these games because, oh my god, they were hyper masculine. It's like, yeah, I have a BFG. I'm gonna run around and shoot demons with it.
I have a BFG. Yeah, really. What's your drink order?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the argument is so. This is ridiculous. Oh, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
go to a fucking bar and says, I'll have a cranberry juice with a dash of soy. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Yeah, it's
Were you on
not.
your
It's
period?
not. It's not a fucking 1980s movie. It's, oh, you played video games. It's like, no, dude, we were running around shooting demons with a fucking miniature nuclear hand cannon. Like,
Good God.
yeah, we,
it's like-
we
it's
kind of
like
thought
in
it was fucking awesome.
It's like in their minds, it's like in their minds, it's like video games is still subject, still like in this phase from the movie The Wizard.
Yeah, which for the record, that movie has not aged well.
Nope.
Anyways, he goes, I enjoyed boxing, bullshit, and
Horse
drink.
crap.
Both as
You
an
know what?
activity
Fuck
and
it.
as a spectacle.
With this motherfucker saying all this shit, drink.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Drink.
At some point,
Fucking
my
long enough.
relationship with fantasy violence, the kind of bloody mayhem that Doom represents, flipped from enthusiasm to disdain. I don't have a problem with its existence. I just no longer enjoy the virtual experience of killing people. Go play
Oh,
Stardew
drink.
Valley and leave us the fuck alone.
What
Oh.
self-respecting gamer would ever say that?
You know what?
He's a phony.
Mother orc flipping shit, drink.
I hate fucking phonies. You know what? Bring the fucking bottle, folks.
Yeah, fucking drink on that one. What the? Drink.
Is
Oh, God, there's so many things I want to say about that one.
What a jag off.
now killing time. Nowadays, if I see people being killed on television, I'll sometimes go make a cup of tea or stare at my hands for a few moments.
Oh,
I never
wait.
watch
What's in
horror
that
films at the
tea?
movie.
Wait, hold on. Mildred, can you please rewind? A cup of what?
Tea.
Tea.
What's in that tea? Should I ask?
It's probably not green. It's probably some weird ass California tea, and not green, black, or Earl Grey like a decent human being should.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mildred, can you just can you reread that sentence for us real quick?
Oh my God.
Nowadays, if I see people being killed on television, I'll sometimes go make a cup of tea or stare at my hands for a few moments.
Drink.
Yep.
These days, I do play a few games that include violence, but the main attraction is the setting or the story. I enjoyed Battlefield 1 and Assassin's Creed Origins because I'm attached to carefully constructed historical settings. Battlefield 1 and
Oh my
Assassin's
God. I
Creed
wonder if he
Origins-
drinks his tea with the pinky up.
Oh.
No, he drank.
Assassin's Creed 1 for historical accuracy.
No, Origins, not 1.
Oh,
And-
Origins. Oh, damn.
You
I was
know,
about to
the
No.
Gangs edition that
No.
had 3 levels of DRM, so I had to return the PC copy I had.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed
Oh.
Kangs.
Kangs.
Yep.
Assassin's Kangs.
Assassin's Kangs and shit.
Because
That's right.
No,
and,
we was Assassin Kangs, bro.
That's right.
and as far as Battlefield 1, calling that it's hard to call Battlefield 1 carefully constructed historical setting because the majority of the guns that you're going to be using in the damn game are going to be automatics. Automatics were not really that much of a thing in World War One.
Yeah, really.
There was
now, granted,
only about
they existed,
3 on the
but they weren't
German side, if I
commonplace.
remember.
Huh?
Yeah, automatics pretty much existed with like Gatling guns or some shit like that. That's pretty much it.
No, that's World War II. On World War One, you had like 3 or 4. They basically didn't exist, not on a scale that you could employ on a battlefield, where you could wield them on the ground. It
Yeah, really.
literally
And-
did not exist.
And as far as the whole historical setting thing, Battlefield Dice cannot write stories worth a shit. And
Oh, I don't give. The funny thing is, I don't give a flying shit about Battlefield if they want to do some, crazy shit and be like, "Hey, look, we have people with prosthetics and blah blah." It's like, I don't fucking care. It's a video game. Who the fuck
Yeah,
gives-
really. It's like,
well, they want to claim that they in the case of Battlefield 5, they wanted to have it both ways. And I remember Dr. Disrespect saying that looking at that multiplayer trailer, that he was just confused as to what it was trying to do.
That's more of my concern. Is it's like, look, if you want to be historically accurate, well, be historically accurate. But when people start attacking you for not doing so, don't bitch about it, because you're kind of shitting on your user base. So, yeah, pick one or the other. It's not that difficult. Either be historically accurate or don't.
He goes on to say, but all that strangling and shooting is a bit of a turnoff. He goes,
oh,
there are so many wonderful games for me to play that lack violence or treat it from a respectable distance. That a churning Farrago like Doom is easy to leave on the unplayed pile. So why didn't you do that?
yeah,
Why are you
really.
here?
Yeah, it's like, what? What, you want to go play What Remains of Edith Finch or fucking what's that stupid fucking walkie simulator game? God damn, I forgot what it's called.
Gone Home?
No, not that one. Of course, you can add that to the pile.
Well, my bigger question with this guy.
Everybody goes to the
why-
rapture. That's what it's called.
Oh yeah, that shit.
Well, my bigger question with this is he's bringing up historical accuracy, which, okay, yeah, that's been the major argument with Battlefield, which I can understand. But why is there seems to be an obsession with violence? So
He's going
why
for
are
it.
you so obsessed with that?
Yeah, he's
I
trying
just-
to be like, he's trying to be the woke. He's trying to be woke Jack Thompson.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to market a video game towards me that's historically accurate, I don't care how violent it is. I just want it to be historically accurate.
Oh
And if
god.
it's not, then I would like it to be at least entertaining. Give me an Overwatch version of fucking World War II. I don't give two shits about the
Jesus
violence
Christ.
aspect.
Yeah, really.
Who cares about whether it's violent or not? Seems like a very odd talking point. It's just my 2 cents. Like,
Yeah.
why would you even bring it up?
Agreed.
And anyway,
it seems
he
odd.
goes on to say, I used to enjoy these things, but I've left that behind at some point between then and now. But here's the
God.
twist. When I finally played the new Doom, I found myself having a fine old time blowing demons to bits, chainsawing my way through monsters. While it hasn't changed my faint disgust with gore, it's helped me understand my feelings about violence.
Oh my god.
Brace for-
And
brace
there
for
it is.
shit.
Yeah, time to play a song here.
Somehow, by gleefully
We are
embracing
not Jack Thompson. We love video games. Want them to be better. Don't want them to stay the same. We are not Jack Thompson. We don't want anything.
Oh, shut the fuck up, bitch.
See, but no, I have to point it out here. I have not read this article, and I didn't know we were going to get to this. But does anyone notice this guy seems to be hyper focused on violence?
Violence, yeah. This is the fucking Jack Thompson argument, man.
Yeah, like, is the game supposed to be hyper violent, or like, what's the selling point? Like, do you want violence? Do you not want it? Like, what the fuck? Like,
Buddy,
come on, dude.
yeah, buddy. The game is called Doom.
Yeah, you would kind of be of the impression that yeah, you're fighting demons, and one of the weapons is a frickin' chainsaw.
Yeah, if you've seen the cover, you're what do you expect to hug a fucking cacodemon to death?
Yeah,
God.
it's kind of a fucking ridiculous argument.
Oh
Like,
my
what
God!
the fuck?
Hold on a second, I gotta show you something in the Discord. Oh,
This
God.
is
This because I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to show you this right now. I bet you 10-1. I bet you 10 to fucking 1. Hold on. Let's see if I can download this thing here.
Like I said, I didn't even know this guy was gonna bring up this talking point within this argument. But it's like you're gonna complain about violence about a game that has a chainsaw as one of its primary weapons.
Yeah, and look at this.
Bitching about violence.
Yeah,
What
this
the
is what.
shit?
Yeah, this is to them. To them, this is what a cacodemon looks like, right here.
Oh God, this is gonna be fucking.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that's what they think they should do to a cacodemon in June.
Oh my God. Let's go fucking kill all the frickin' TY Beanie Babies and shit with a fucking chainsaw. Yeah, they're so fucking adorable, right? Like, oh God, just
Yeah, I bet you 10-1. This is like, I mean, if they don't like how they play, why don't they go play some Super 3D Noah's Ark or some shit like that?
Hey, dude, according to these individuals, fucking Mario Party would be fucking a violent video game.
Yeah.
Well, Mario Party is a violent video game.
Yeah, no,
yeah, I guess
exactly.
you're right.
Because if someone loses, they start throwing down with the winner.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Mario Party is a game that ends friendships. We all know this.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, by the way.
Second to only Monopoly.
Hey, by the way, drink.
Yep. Just for that statement.
Oh goodness. This was a fucking mistake.
Oy vey.
Yep. But unfortunately, unlike Adam Jensen, you can't say that you never asked for this.
I'm committed. I'm committed to the bit.
All right, keep it going, brother.
All right. Let's see. It goes somehow by gleefully embracing its own awfulness. What?
Does that count?
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Drink.
Doom manages to make a comedy of a grisly serving, placing it at a distance from so many other entertainments that take their killing seriously. So when has Doom ever taken itself seriously?
Yeah, and number two, have they ever seen it? This is coming from a guy who claims to see in a lot of action movies, been in a lot of bar fights. Come on, what kind of bullshit is that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can really call those bar fights unless they're
claims to
at the. I can't say that on YouTube. I don't want to get Mildred banned.
Yeah, I bet you those.
What were you going to say?
At the gay bar.
Dude,
making a musical reference, we can get away with it.
Also, drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was a horrible idea.
I think that's going to be your catch. I think that is going to be your catchphrase at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah, you're not wrong.
It's a bad idea.
It was a bad idea.
Why did you have to break out the Boomhauer impression?
I don't know.
Bad idea, man.
Yeah, bad idea, man.
I'm just going to talk about sitting here talking about these SUW articles and everything, just the buzzwords, that, and then it's just about a day, man.
Yeah. Fucking internet
You
tough
know what I'm
guys.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyway.
Yeah.
Drink.
Yep.
Anyway, there's a direct line between the original Doom and this game that transcends the norm of fictional slaying. Both can be presented as video game versions of medieval Doom paintings.
What garbage is this for going to?
Medieval Doom paintings. Let's see what we've got here. By somebody called Laser Horse.
What does this have to do What does this have to do with anything?
Laser
What does this have to do with the price of tea in China?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
really.
Bananas don't have backbones. And I'm looking at these paintings, and I don't see the connection between this and Doom.
Neither do I.
Which
Yeah.
were designed to inspire horror and fright. Except Doom is not a horror game.
No.
It's a shooter.
Yeah,
But these paintings
it's
with
action. It's an action game. So, what?
It's a shooter with substance, unlike their duties in Battlefield. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
But these paintings, with their appalling grotesques and silly contortions, strike modern viewers as comical.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
I'm
ambulance.
striking this article as comical.
Yeah, no
The
shit.
original Doom gave us splashes of 16-bit blood and crumpling cadavers, which at the time were viewed as extreme, at least by critics of video games such as parent watchdog groups and some politicians.
And this idiot is making the same dumbass point as they were back in the 90s.
Exactly.
Most players saw them for what they were: jolly good fun, a bit of a laugh, a cocking of snoots against the stuffy establishment. That last one's a bit of a stretch. Doom was not punk rock or listening to Rage Against the Machine or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
The 2016's Doom's diabolical rococo is crafted with loving detail. It is not enough to shoot a demon and watch it drop. We must witness its innards tumbling forward us. Monsters aren't merely killed, they are atomized in a bowl of misty meat. This isn't realism, it's the spooky fantasy of cartoonish brutes, lovingly carved and sliced.
It isn't supposed to be real, you idiota.
I remember way back in the old days when I would read like 3 or 4 different gaming magazines at the same time, as if I'm Abe Sapien or some shit. Can of Coke to whoever gets that reference. I remember somebody writing in a letter to GamePro, calling out the claim that Medal of Honor, I think it was Medal of Honor Allied Assault, which is basically Call of Duty Zero, and called it out for claiming that it's realistic when you don't have realistically exploding bodies when you throw a grenade. And their response was, it is realistic because not because of that shit, but because they actually did their research around World War II. And I feel like this is I end up being reminded of this guy's argument because this is any attempt to try and claim realism when it comes to Doom is farcical.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, never mind the fact that Doom started with them being big D&D fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because the narrative backdrop is preposterous. Heavy metal clangs. Mick Gordon does not use any guitars in his work, so calling it heavy metal is a stretch.
Yes.
Hey guys, I shot the demons with religion and they turned to dust.
Oh my god. There's a lot of fucking dubstep in this shit. Of course, like I think, as Razor first put it, there should be some fucking heavy metal in this shit. Other than
Actually,
that dubstep crap.
Mick Gordon outright said he. First off, calling it dubstep is complete bullshit. Mick Gordon's musical style is anything but that, and it is. He wanted to do heavy without relying on the obvious. So he would use an electronic sound. He uses an electronic soundtrack, but calling his stuff dubstep is kind of bullshit because there's nothing really dubsteppy about it.
It's
Not to mention he used a fucking chainsaw as one of his instruments.
Oh,
Oh wow.
yeah, that's something I haven't heard about.
That's edgy as fuck.
Again, he outright said he felt that if he used a more traditional guitar, then the music might have gotten too cheesy.
He was literally edgy.
Oh my god.
So and I know you defend him, but still, this does not surprise me that he'd say that because Razor Fist is a nostalgia tard.
Well,
Yeah, so am I.
Well, you're after almost a decade of putting up with OSR nostalgia tards, I have no patience for that shit. Not to mention Razor Fist is in my unholy quintet of reviewers. When he's doing that, and I still hold it against him that he decided to spend a good chunk of his time when talking about BattleTech to wax on about how much he hates anime. Like, dude, we get it, but this is supposed to be an introduction to BattleTech. You don't need to constantly bring up anime.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
and his take on Elric was even worse because he disingenuously shat on Witcher. And yeah, the Witcher novels take a little bit too much from Elric. That is true. But he completely ignores why The Witcher became popular in Europe. Because keep in mind, Iron Curtain. And The Witcher got around that because it was homebrewed.
Yeah.
Which is why it's popular to the point where then President Obama was handed a copy of The Witcher 2 on a visit to Poland.
Ah.
Anyway, he goes, gravelly voices growl apocalyptic prophecies. No, they're growling stories about how you completely screwed over hell. Because the twist when it comes to Doom is that you are effectively hell's equivalent of a slasher villain.
Yes.
Let's see. Agonized screams lilt along throbbing corridors. Demons bound across the screen, grinning insanely beneath arches of skulls. It's impossible to take this seriously.
It is not supposed to be serious.
As I glide along a floor slick with the dismembered leavings of gurning ogres. Is this guy trying to be British?
Oh my god, put it through the readability test for this one. Ugh.
Jesus.
I find it difficult to imagine a more bloody game or a sillier one. It strikes me that this game's embrace of extreme violence is a superb demonstration, rather than the appalling business of killing as entertainment is a vast spectrum.
God. It's starting to sound like some stupid dissertation.
Drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hmm?
See, it goes on to say, nakedly gratuitous. Doom is a lot closer to Tom and Jerry's antics than to the gun-happy nonsense of po-faced TV cop shows, or the nakedly gratuitous nastiness of Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead.
Oh,
What?
And watch something.
Now go ahead.
First off, that's a drink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a drink.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you're saying, Meldra.
Second off, that is apples to oranges.
Yes.
The Walking Dead is supposed to be about how people react to an apocalypse. Game of Thrones is about the struggle for power and the depths that people will sink to get one up on someone.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of these is comparable to the
neither of these
of Doom.
Neither of these is comparable to something like Doom.
Exactly.
Because
Please show your work.
it's more like a fairground.
Needed.
It's more like a fairground shooting range than it is a serious portrayal of death and destruction. It takes the horrible business of violent death and turns it into a caper. These mashed up monstrosities don't make me feel anywhere near as uncomfortable as the tamest TV shootout.
That is the point. That is the point. Apparently, he's missing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's missing it so much, it's ended up in a fucking water hazard.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
Let's see. He goes... Again, I have to switch windows. He goes on to say, maybe that's something we all need from time to time. To a greater or a lesser extent, the thrill of violence is in us all, a natural lighting up of our ancient instincts. My younger self had a taste for it up close. Now I require the distance created by a stylistic dressing that renders the whole thing in a self-mockery.
So the question is, how do they conflate that with their whole punch Nazis philosophy? I wonder.
It's probably under some variation of it's different when we do it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. There you go. It'll be a fair while before I play a game like Doom again, but I think I've learned a lot more by playing it than by avoiding it. I've learned a hell of a lot more about you by you attempting to play it, and that you're so self-conscious you have to worry about your own fifis instead of just sitting back, getting some popcorn, and enjoying the show.
Yeah,
exactly.
Play, have fun, or shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, to quote MST3K, it's only a game. Maybe I should just relax.
Yeah, before that reboot fucked it all up.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. I'm not talking about it.
Because remember, Minnesotan here, so I have a bit more of a stake in that.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt, he sucks, and Felicia Fake, no.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it goes. It occurs to me now that I enjoy playing violent games more than I'd suspected. I like Fortnite. Okay.
Oh my God!
Casual.
You filthy casual. Bring out the flamethrower.
Brother, get the flamer.
Yep. I'm getting, let's see here. Here we go. 8:14.
Oh, yes. nice half-baked reference.
Yep.
A game in which I try to kill as many people as possible in short order. I hadn't previously considered it to be a violent game, partly because it looks like a cartoon, but mostly because it's designed to not feel like a violent game. Context is everything. If context is everything, then why do you and your kind take things out of context?
Yeah, and then promotes shitty Royale games like Fortnite. I mean, shit. It's like this again, as I always said about the as I always said about games like that have Royale in it. It's just there is absolutely no goddamn substance in those.
There we go.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Not to mention that there's for me the reason why I never got into Battle Royale was simply because there's not much
to it.
Yeah.
Not only that, but what the game asks of me does not make it worth it. Because consider this. In just about every shooter that I play, there is some degree of a meta game, some of what the game is asking of you. Gears of War is asking you to learn how to take cover and learn how to properly aim your shots because your weapons are going to be slow firing, high damage. Call of Duty is asking you to constantly be on the move because you're always going to be 2 hits away from death.
Yeah.
Halo is going to be asking you to be on the move and utilize 3 methods of attack at any given point.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's asking you to do those things, you have a goal that you can get better at. With a battle royale game, it is all about randomness.
Yes.
That is why I have no patience for it because this is
the ultimate form of dumbed down gameplay.
Yes.
Now, yeah, not to mention, I've made it very clear I have no time for survival games.
Neither do I.
Exactly. Yeah, Yeah, survival games is basically grief simulators. But then again, isn't 90% of all multiplayer games basically grief simulators?
If they're done right.
Right.
But that's where that article ends, and I think I might end up popping in Doom sometime down the line to rub it in this guy's face. But it's funny that I guarantee that this was brought up to try and get clicks because of the gameplay footage that was shown for Doom Eternal. And I do very much appreciate that it's very clear that while Todd Howard may be a soy king, id is not.
No.
Because what they decided to do that got a lot of people pissed off was the humanly challenged line. Demon is an offensive term. Please refer to your new visitors as humanly challenged. And the hologram PA basically trying to make it sound like demons were Earth's new immigrants.
Oh, so that's what they're doing, huh? They're trying to I see what they're trying to do there. They're trying to portray demons as a what you call it.
Well,
hell is culturally enhancing the mortal realm. Enrichment.
It seems like what it is doing is slightly making fun of that whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I approve of the fact that people got really salty over that humanly challenged thing, which has been making fun of blankly challenged has been a thing in comedy for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they've taken it to the next level and basically made fun of Europe.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure everybody who is throwing salt over this and saying that they're not going to buy the game because of it, that somehow it's apparently offensive to disabled, to LGBT or whatever,
and somehow Muslims.
For one, I don't think they even give a damn. I think they're more concerned with we want to make Doom Eternal to be fucking awesome. And from what they showed at QuakeCon this year, I think they might be doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They got to bounce back from the incoming disaster that's Fallout 76 and the shit stain that is fucking Wolfenstein 2.
That end might be fucking up, but at least Doom isn't. The soy infection has not touched Doom.
Thank God.
You're welcome. But I think that is gonna do it for us. We have set a new record of going 3.5 hours for Monastery Live episode 10. We will be now, as usual, as far as what's going on for the rest of the week. On Wednesday, unfortunately, I would be running the next segment for the second city, but that is unfortunately not in the cards anymore because one of my players, Matty J, is going to be at Power Morphicon. So he's going to be all the way out in Pasadena and not going to be able to run with us. However, I do have a backup plan. We will be running a miniatures game for the first time known as Endless Fantasy Tactics. If you're raising an eyebrow with that name, that is completely intentional. And on Thursday, of course, I will be heading over to Nurgle's channel to join in on the Stream of Corruption. And lastly, come back next week for Monastery Live number 11, because these things go up to 11.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, check out the Discord before we go.
Okay, let's see.
Parting shot to Matthew.
Oh God. Well, didn't Matt try and flag one of Suit Yourself's videos?
He probably did.
I remember. I think it was Suit Yourself or somebody else bringing that up in the Kumite Discord.
It was Suit Yourself, and it was over one of the song videos that he does, and I guess that's bullying. I've talked to Suit quite a few times, and when Cognitive Thought was talking on his stream, essentially what it really boils down to is Suit Yourself made a music video mocking Matt. Just like, yeah, you're acting like a bitch. That's really the best way to put it. And it got flagged. And according to Suit, Matt is the one that flagged it, and he has a little bit of evidence that would suggest that yes, Matt is the one that flagged it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would assume that, yeah, considering everything, Matt probably is the one that flagged it. And it's a bitch move. And the ironic part is the video it's Cognitive Thoughts. You blame it on the Kumite because the bitch made.
Yeah. And to paraphrase Matthew, I'm a soy-filled bitch, and I'm sorry I flagged your videos.
But anyway,
that's apparently what it was about, and Matt blames it on the Kumite because his bitch made.
Yep.
Yeah.
With all of that madness said, we will once again see you next week. We'll have some salt to mine, some articles to laugh at, and some shit to post. But until then, on behalf of all of my good brothers here and the good brothers who were not able to make it, my name is Mildra. Stay frosty, everybody, and fuck the Watsy.
Mhm.